Welcome, everyone, to the Shattered Isles. I'm Cassie,
I'm Max.
and we co-GM this thing. John, introduce yourself and your character.
Hello there, I'm John, and I play Kodrug, Stromhessen, rigger extraordinaire on the Amber Falls.
And Paige.
Hello. I'm Paige. I'm not a super cyber soldier. I'm a wizard, Thomas. I play Thomas Elaine Baron, a wizard who came from the great distances of Marseille, which is like France.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all.
So last we left our two crew members. They were on shore leave in Kadaf, the capital of Kadaf, on the island of Narak. They had been having some adventures. Thomas had been proposed by the court wizard.
Proposed.
Yes.
Propositioned?
Propositioned. I mean,
Yeah,
you can take...
proposed, and I was like, fuck, who did I get married to? I don't remember that.
Well, propose and proposition are similar in some ways.
Yeah, I know.
So you were I wouldn't say proposition because that goes into whole other connotations.
I guess.
Thomas had an offer from
Fair
the
enough.
court wizard to take his place, and Thomas is looking up on it.
And Kodrog had been wandering around the city and enjoying his time with in the city as well as friends and making relations with some cool people, Arya and
Narish. And Lord Lysander.
Yo.
Doctor to the king.
And Maria, the bosun of the Amber Falls. We left off last session with Kodrog having assisted the physician, and the physician leaving post haste to... Oh, the curtain fell down.
Oh no!
Oh no, you can see everything.
You can see stuff.
Everything.
Why are you doing that?
And
Now
now everyone can see that we live on the surface of the sun.
What are you doing?
I was just looking at that giant dice block because I have one.
Oh, up there, the red one in the corner?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
holds
have
all my dice.
I have giant purple foam dice that I will never use, but I have because they were on sale.
He was pulling... So our newest family member was pulling down the curtain. While we were down in Miami, we got a rescue. And he's over here hiding underneath me.
Oh, okay.
He thought he did trouble.
He is Toto. He just totally did the man behind the curtain thing. And
He did.
He did.
Great start.
And he left quickly without paying you. And so he left you at his place, which you said at the end of last session that you were just gonna head on out.
Not touch anything and make your other fingers
Sin-
almost fall off.
Yes.
Yeah, right now his finger is glowing. If I remember correctly, it's glowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thomas, you were at the castle
I am.
with the court wizard, and the physician arrived in an unusual way, and the two of them began experimenting and testing a potion in which the king had received as a present from some pilgrims from the Republic of Porthian. And of course, the wizard and the physician both tested, as far as they go now, somewhat. Couple of tests. What was it on a hound dog and then a chicken?
Chicken and yeah.
And Master Reginald and Lord Lysander still weren't fully cleared on how they wanted to interpret the potion yet, but for the most part, they were interested in it. They didn't see it having any foul effects.
Oh yeah, Thomas witnessed the older hen blossoming, blooming, feathering into a young chickadee doodah.
Chickadee doodah.
Chickadee doodah.
Bear with me, folks. I'm tired.
Chickadee yay.
You know what I meant.
So that's where we left off, and that's where we're going to pick up, and we're going to pick up with Kodrog. But before we do that, we want to let everybody in the audience know that it was posted a little while ago. It's going to be mentioned. We're going to be needing crew member names. Races kind of don't really matter, but for the most part, we need names.
Yeah. Names of crew members, because as you all may remember, the crew of the Amber Falls came into a windfall of riches by selling lapis baelina, whale stones.
Yeah, whale poop.
No, it wasn't poop. It's vomit.
Whale vomit.
Bleh.
Which is ambergris, which is a very expensive ingredient in perfumes and other fixative alchemy. And all of the crew got a bit of the rewards, and it was so much so that there were a lot of crew members considering retirement. And so we're looking to fill in some new crew members to take their place.
So, if everything goes well, they will be part of that.
Yes.
They will be part of this coming up batch. So, what we got earlier, radio said.
There we go.
Digby, Ralph. Digby. Ralph.
Do you want me to do it so
Yeah.
you can talk and not just...
Read them out loud because
Yeah.
I have no internal monologue.
Yes, thank you.
So, we're going to start off with Kodron.
Yes.
There you are at the one of the highest points in the city, next to this elaborate building. As like I said in last description, low-slung wall goes around a portion of it, creating like a closed-in yard. There's the large doors to the barn, and you had closed those when you had stepped out. And so now there you are at the top of the city, looking out across it, spans down the cliffs, the slope, down into around the bay and the secure harbor. And it's past noon. It's only at least an hour or two before evening, and you have no idea where Maria is.
Did I pass any butlers or anything on my way out of the residence?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, did you want to walk through his main building? Because otherwise you were in a barn or a, like, side construction building of some type.
No, I definitely don't want to venture around the property unsupervised. That sounds both dangerous and potentially criminal, so...
Where's your exploration? Where's your sense of adventure?
This is the estate of Lord Evan Lysander, physician to the king.
Again, where's your sense of adventure?
My fingy is glowing. I was just hoping that maybe, he had told his, money disbursement butler to meet me at the door and disperse money to me, but...
Nope. He just flew
Okay.
off.
Well,
Probably at this point, you probably can still see him on that contraption floating through the air up toward the castle.
Shout at him.
no,
Give me
no,
that
I'll
You didn't pay me!
I'll just tuck the shame that my parents must be feeling towards me right now. A dwarf doing work for free,
Aww.
no, worse than that, a dwarf forgetting to negotiate the payment up front before work was done.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Leg work.
Oh well,
You got
I know where it lives.
You got excited.
Yeah.
There's royalty wanting your help.
Your finger's
Yeah.
glowing.
Your finger's
I think
glowing.
Yeah,
Payment
right?
enough.
So-
I was distracted at every stage.
All right. So
Got
your
Maria
goal,
behind,
the
glowing
goal is to go
finger.
find Maria and maybe hook up, maybe have a dinner.
So my goal is to meet Maria at Piesco's in 1 hour before sundown. That's
Right,
my
you
goal.
guys made a dinner date. Yeah.
Yep. And I wrote it down phonetically and still couldn't say it, so...
Story of my life.
Yeah. So, oh man, I'm going to look up towards the sun and try and gauge the the hour to see how much time I have left to get ready because I need to get cleaned up because now I've been doing like manual labor and I'm grody. I have to get flowers and I have to find a nice port to bring, and I have to get there early enough to have them put the flowers on the table and have the port at the appropriate serving temperature before Maria gets there.
All right. I'm assuming Kodrog's got some sort of skill to back this up, some experience that this has come from, so he knows how to do all these things. And
At wooing a woman, I think Kodrog has plenty of experience.
He read a book once.
Now wait a minute.
And I'm not talking like an actual skill. I'm like, you suddenly have like as far as I can tell, as a game master, you have skills as a rigger, a killer, a sneak, and a killer.
He's a lover and a fighter.
Oh,
And
I
suddenly-
know. I know how to back it up. He
Okay.
hangs out with Thomas, who constantly reads smut. I mean, come on.
I mean,
I'm interpreting from like the cover pictures on all of Thomas's.
You probably
Novels that
also
he
heard
reads.
him like rant about certain like love scenes where he's like, "Ah, God
Yeah.
damn it, Jennifer and Adrian should be together, but they're not for some reason." And you're just like doing the line work, and he's pacing. Like,
I was just
no,
kind of trying to
decided go
infer.
with Nathan. Like,
Well, I was mostly trying to infer if maybe there was some like past reference, because we all know that Kodrog has military experience and stuff, but this knowledge of romance, this is just not something that we've seen of him, and it's really cool.
he also asked Thomas, like, "Hey, what is Maria like?" And Thomas was like, "Oh, are you gonna fawn over her or swoon over her or whatever?" So he gave him advice, but he didn't go as far as like, "All right, get a dinner date." I think he mentioned a date or something. He basically mentioned what she likes and what she's into, what she likes to read.
All right. Okay. Cool.
It's a secret part of Kodrog's past.
Yeah, it's
It's the
my dark
teddy bear
shadowy
inside.
past. It's my love life. Bear, please don't bark.
All right. Cool.
Shipping in the world of shippy ships.
Shipping in the world of shit. Okay. So yeah, I don't see any right off the bat any issues because this
No.
is moving forward with the story
Yes.
and how things are going. There's no random encounters in the city because it's highly patrolled. I'm
That you know of.
I'm pretty sure that we don't have to worry about thieves or pickpockets or anything like that.
No, nobody's stupid enough to rob a dwarf.
Yeah, and the city's rules on thieving is you lose a hand, so getting caught can be a pain in the... So, yeah, I don't see a problem. You can easily get back to the... One second, I think it's called the Merchant's Lodge. Mm-hmm. You can get back to the Merchant's Lodge and get cleaned up and make your way down to the water to the restaurant. Merchant's
Excellent.
Lodge. So, we're going to fast forward here. Is that
Okay.
good?
Yes, I
Okay.
think-
All right.
Now, if Max, if you would like, I can attempt an etiquette roll to see if I am successful at picking good flowers and a decent port.
I mean, you've got etiquette.
No, but I see it listed on my sheet. There's nothing next to it though.
You know what? I feel like he would be smart enough to ask
Listen to Thomas.
the restaurant butler.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with you're smart enough to ask other people for what
Okay.
you need to do. I don't think you should
Good.
do an etiquette roll unless you totally... Because otherwise you have to get 5 or less.
Again,
Oh.
Thomas told Kodrog what she likes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you
He
did.
just has
So,
to execute it. Unless he doesn't know what like a violet is or daffodils are, then he's
I know.
fucked.
I think I know.
I mean,
what
you could
violets
also
and
just
daffodils
ask
are.
the merchant, but I mean, that might clash with your pride. I don't know.
No, I don't think dwarves have a pride in which they can't ask for help about money and finances and purchasing things. That would just be silly.
Yeah, no.
Their society would be based on a lot of terrible stuff. So yeah, you're able to find flowers. Cost you a few coin. You're able to get the port, get it set out in time. Cost you a few more coin. And get arrangements at the restaurant, reservations set for, and
Fancy.
a deposit put ahead of time to make sure that your seat will be reserved. Of course, the restaurant doesn't ask questions like, are you a noble or anything like that. They just assume when you start showing off coin that you can handle this because you're already dressed nicely. The sun's setting, or the sun is going down. You walk outside and you hold your hand up and you've been adjusting your fingers to determine how much longer. Or do you have a pocket watch?
Yeah, I actually have a pocket watch.
Because I was about to say, I thought you had a pocket watch.
I do. I just like to
looking
make
like
a
a
show of
badass,
it
that's
first,
all.
and then I pull out my watch and I'm like, yep, I was right.
I'm sure Kodrug knows how to tell the sun by his hands and or even looking at it because he's a line dude. I mean, he's out in the heat all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Not to mention, I don't think he has time to be like, oh, what time is it with his pocket watch? So
Yeah, when you're up in the yard arms of the masts, you don't have time to pull out your... I mean, if you do, then...
unless you do some Circus Stole stuff with the ropes, then I mean, go
Yeah.
for it.
I grab on with my toes, and I put my monocle on, and I pull out my pocket watch. I'm like, yes, who's dare say it is that time.
It's 11:45, yes.
So, there you are. Do you want to be inside the restaurant, outside the restaurant? Where do you want to be waiting for her to show up?
I'm going to wait outside the restaurant so that way I can accompany her in.
Okay. A sedan, it's not a sedan, but a covered cart. I'm trying to think of the word. It's not a wagon. Carriage. Ha! Words. I got them. I am a thesaurus. Rawr.
You got this. I believe in
A
you.
carriage pulls forward. It's nice. It's not, like, super ritzy. But when the door opens, Maria is stepping out in a light blue dress.
I got him.
Okay. Maria is stepping out in a light blue dress with a bonnet on. The guy jumps off and tries to get to the door before her, but she just reaches her arm through. She's got like a pair of gloves on, and she reaches her arm out, flips the switch, and gets out herself. And as he comes forward, she just shoos him away, like, get off. And she looks around for a moment, and her eyes make contact with you, and yeah, she blushes. Maybe you can see she gets flushed, and she waves to you, and then pays the man from her purse. She even have like a little dainty pocket purse that she has to unpin to pull coins out of it. And this is the most ladylike you have ever seen her. She steps across some stones to get from the carriage to the sidewalk, and then she walks over to you. Kodrog, you're looking fine today, this evening. And my stuttering is not me not knowing; it's her. She stutters with her words.
So I am going to bow very politely and say, "My lady, you are looking ravishing yourself," and I will turn and hold my arm out for her to hold, so that I can escort her in.
All right. Well, she rests her arm on yours, and the two of you walk into the restaurant. The restaurant butlers open the door, so the two of you can come in. They can see what's going on. You see that they react like there's. They open the door. The restaurant butler maitre d' steps forward and greets the two of you. Table for two.
Oh yes, I believe it's prearranged.
He gives a nod, and right this way, and he begins escorting you guys through the restaurant. The wood in this place is varnished, and it shines, and your boots click across the floor. The tables are immaculate. They each have white sheet cloths over them with unlit candles in the tables that aren't occupied and lit candles for the ones that are occupied. Everyone in here, be it a naval officer or some other dignitary or noble individual, are dressed with respect, and you guys fit in. As far as you can tell, you definitely fit in. Some of the women are wearing strange oddities and hats that stand well above their head, or lace that poke out of places that seems just strange. You pass frivolous, maybe even. You pass by 2 Takeow. You're unsure what their arrangement is, but they're wearing what seems to be layers of silk garments. Almost like 4 or 5 flat silk hats don their heads as they themselves are enjoying a meal. He takes you into the little side, more private room where your table sits waiting. Flowers, port, and candle. So, I mean, what happens now?
So I'm going to try to maneuver to pull her chair out.
Oh, yeah.
And try not to trip over my feet.
Okay. I'm pretty sure you're agile enough for that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so you know, like, I don't have a lot of experience being fancy, except for, like, the few times when I've been brought in front of, like, important nobles and royalty. So, like, there's only so much that I could push my act before it starts to, like, crumble, I feel.
So, okay, so you're trying to stay as focused as possible, to look as fine as possible, and as long as possible, because this is what you want. Okay, cool. Yep. All right. Considering your attire, the location you've come to, the fact that everybody else here has a particular demeanor to them, and you're working really hard at this, I'm going to let you make an etiquette roll. We're going to give you a +4 to this etiquette roll, making it a 9. So you need to roll a 9 or less, and the whole night is going to go exactly as you plan.
Okay. 5, 6, 7, 8!
Ooh!
Oh.
All right.
Oh, man.
I'm going to do the same for Maria, and she has no etiquette. Do you want to roll for her?
Oh, you guys are both trying really hard. That's so cute.
6, a 6, and a 7. A 5. So that's a 17.
She's not doing so hot.
She's so nervous.
You sit her down, and as you pull the chair out, like, the first thing that happens is she stares at you for a minute, then reaches over and grabs another chair and pulls it out.
I do.
You think that would be that bad?
I don't.
No, she would have taken. Okay. Well,
I think she would just be a little,
honestly, I don't think that.
What do you think a 17 would look like? Because she's nervous?
Yeah. She's not. I don't know.
Okay.
I think she would be tripping over herself a little bit, or whenever she'll go to, like, pick up a fork, and instead of doing it very daintily, she'll just, like, grab it.
Stab her chicken.
And instead of, like, ordering wine, she orders a mead, and then she looks at Kodrug, and then she corrects herself. Like, I'll have a red wine. Like,
but that's not to say the evening is enjoyable.
Yeah. It's endearing.
Very endearing.
Yeah, so I imagine that, like, Kodrog is trying so hard to, like, keep everything composed, but as he notices, like, Maria, like, make, like, these incrementally more obvious gaffes, like, for like high society, like, he would, like, kind of, like, let his own act down so that, you know, they could be more on the same level, and maybe just, like, end the night on after, like, starting to tell some, like, war stories from sailing around in the void, and maybe getting a little bit louder than the crowd is used to because we finished the bottle of port.
there's, like, those fancy couples that are over there watching you, and they're just like,
this is you all most likely won't be invited back.
Yeah. Moments before we're asked to leave, we decide to leave on our own.
They were gonna kick us out, but we left first.
Loud laughing, rude jokes. Maybe 1 or 2 rude jokes.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, definitely
appropriate.
Awesome.
Like a. This is more in line with, like, everybody else around, and not, like, for sure.
So the dinner is amazing. Puts Cookie to shame. You guys have 2 meats, steak and chicken, and the vegetables and the bread and the wine and the everything. But by the end of the jokes and the laughing and the excusing yourself from the restaurant, you two find yourself on the boardwalk that stretches down the secure harbor all the way out into the bay. And so you guys are walking, and if you can imagine, if we were taking the point of view from the side of the castle, you guys are walking along the boardwalk opposite side of the harbor where the Amber Falls is pretty much sitting at this point in time as you leave the restaurant. And as probably at least a block away, as the cool air has gotten to the two of you, and you've stopped giggling, she says, I have had a really good evening. This is a wonderful night.
I'm glad that you have. I never would have thought that we could have this kind of an evening together.
She gives a nod.
I understand if it would be inappropriate for us to have too many of these too often. But I hope that we can.
She looks around for a moment and shrugs. I don't see why not. I mean, you don't work underneath me. You're not Thomas. You work for Anne. I don't see why we can't do this more often. And she, at this point, will be facing you, and she'll hold on to your hands, and she pauses, she chokes for a minute, and it's like she forgot what she was about to say, or she's not saying something. Beautiful moment of awkward silence.
Yeah. Well, perhaps I should escort you back to the merchant's. I forgot what it was called already.
Lodge.
Merchant's
Lodge. Merchant's Lodge.
She says,
And I stumble over that last word. It's like Merchant's Lodge. Yeah, Merchant's Lodge.
there is the Red Sign Inn, and it's got a tavern, and it's along the way between here and the Merchant's Lodge. We can swing through there and pick up maybe a mug or two before we get back.
A mug or two sounds great. That fancy drink just
It was really
feel
light.
right. It doesn't sit right.
I'm starting to think it's wearing off now, and maybe they added water to it.
They probably did. You
Fortified
guys probably
wine
went through a whole
is too
bottle.
light.
They went through a whole bottle and then they watered it down and they were like, they don't care.
Yeah, we'll water
But
the
they
bottle
filtered out
down.
the water somehow.
So, yeah, you two make your way to the tavern. Have a couple of, maybe a pint more. Snag a bottle of mead on the way back to the Merchant's Lodge.
Yep.
Sing a song or two while there, because other sailors are hanging out.
Oh yeah, you got to get a shanty in while you're out.
And make your way back to the Merchant's Lodge. Stumble into the night. The door's always open. The guy at the desk doesn't say anything as the two of you come in, wheeling a little bit and leaning on each other with a half-empty bottle.
Yeah, and because we know that now people are potentially sleeping in here, we've brought the singing volume down to like a very loud, raspy whisper.
Just makes me want to watch Shaun of the Dead.
You stumble down the hall, then up a flight of stairs to your room, but what you can't hear is the man behind the desk continues humming the tune as you disappear to finish it off for himself. You get up to you guys' rooms, and at that point she says, "Your room or mine?" And then she stares at you.
Oh, she's very forward.
I think your room, then mine.
Oh.
She fiddles for a moment, pulls out her key, unlocks the door, and then reaches behind her and grabs the bit of ribbon attached to her dress, one of the little tails, and puts it into your hand. The tail of ribbon that is in the back of a dress and whatnot. And so she steps away, and the ribbon begins to untie as she's walking into the room. As she's giving like a coy look over her shoulder. A coy drunk look, but it's still, you know what it means.
One eye's closed, and she's like, me.
This is the...
Allow me to assist you with this rigging.
Man.
All right.
Yeah, and then the door shuts.
And then the door
We
shuts.
fade to black.
The door shuts and we fade. She is right.
Oh, man. And I get to work under her.
Oh my.
Yeah, I tried not making a sexual comment when you're like, you don't work under me, and I was like, wait till later. Like...
So, Kodrog, it's the next day. You've recovered quickly.
Do we want to
go to
forward some more, though? Because it'll be a few days.
We can do that. We can also check in on Thomas before we fast forward to that.
Okay.
Let's do that instead. Because Thomas has got to deal with these elderly intellectuals for at least the evening.
Nobles.
All right.
I don't get a romantic date. I was gonna, but
you have to babysit.
You have to babysit.
Old men.
Well, actually, we could fast forward with
evenings going on. I just imagine it. We cut to the two men bickering, and Thomas is just like there with his fork doing this thing and just watching it drop and like twirling it around.
Yeah, I'm sure you probably had a private dinner with the wizard and the physician, and not in any sort of royal engagement.
You find that once like the disagreements kind of die down, that they seem to actually maybe even like each other a little bit. They spend most of the time going back and forth on different theories about how this elixir works, what's caused it, if it's, and then they, if it was just straight magic, if they have some sort of unusual alchemy that goes on over in the Republic that they don't know about, and then they start talking about, well, what if it's both, and then they both start, like, hypothesizing, like, the different things that would go into something like this, and it bleeds over into something else that they're talking about a project to combine magic and science is what you get from it. You're smart enough to figure out what they're talking about.
It breaks down to the Reginald magically producing a quill and ink, and then they begin writing on the linen. The white linen tablecloth, they begin writing. Well, what about this and what about that? And begin. No, I think that would be a better direction to go. And they start bouncing off each other, and the synergy is enough to distract you from your fork twirling and cutlery throwing. I wouldn't say it's throwing, maybe
like...
cutlery tossing.
Cutlery tossing.
But at some point they will,
They're talking about these things called batteries that can store magical energy or produce it.
Okay. Thomas, as he's putting down a fork that he's been twirling around, or the knife that he's been like twisting up the fabric and then letting go and like pulling up and seeing the little mountain that he made. Not touching his wine because it's way too dry for him. he kind of perks up at the mention of like, oh, we should store magic in something, and he'll kind of like chime in and just say like scrolls or like runes. Like you can easily enchant an item and have energy flow through it naturally, or almost naturally.
No, Thomas, that's not.
What we're trying to do is accumulate magical energy from the world around us and concentrate it into a form that is easily stored and accessed for later use
By
anyone.
And you can see, like, they're just like, poof, and you're like, "Eh, what's that?" You know, because beforehand they were yelling about, vocabulary at each other.
Yeah. Someone says like potato, and one says like the opposite. What is that?
Potato.
Potato. There we go. Or.
And then they argue about which is correct, but not then, not just then. They both are on the same page.
Yeah.
I think this might warrant looking more into their doctrines. If they've discovered some key components to move from where we're at, maybe accelerate.
We should see if the pilgrims have brought anyone who understands the scientific arts. And who would be willing to talk to someone like you.
Yes, that being the most key. Be warned, Thomas, these pilgrims have a dislike for you and I. In their religion, our practice is looked down upon. The word wizard, mage, warlock, sorcerer, witch are all horrible words to them.
Oh,
Good to
horrible
know.
is a bit drastic.
I
don't you
think it fits perfectly fine. Anyone who so openly displays such disregard for magic.
It can't be that bad because they brought an elixir that is obviously magical.
Why did they bring the elixir? Do you know yet?
Reginald
Other
looks
than
down at the
building a
table
torch.
and doesn't say anything.
The physician will do the same thing for a moment. The king is getting on in years, and he is, with every passing month now, it seems like, he has another crisis of not having an heir.
His eldest... your... Amber has yet to marry and has yet to produce a child. And the king dwells on this so much that Lysander here... And he leans over and he says, "What we say here leaves not this room. No ears will hear this beyond the three of us. The king is on special herbal tea to calm himself.
He is very anxious about his legacy.
He will be, if we are unsuccessful, the last of the line. For the family follows the heritage only through the males. And if Amber inherits the kingdom, it will be hers and not the family's line. And
She won't even be able to inherit the kingdom. She's not
she won't.
married.
It'll fall to the seneschal's shoulders. And if the seneschal is passed, then it will fall to... It gets complicated from there on out.
And he's uncertain if Violet will be able to produce the heir that is necessary.
The child is too young for any marriage, in our opinion.
Thankfully, he listens to us.
Yes.
She's a slow developer.
Yes.
That's what we're calling it, right?
Yes.
Yes, slow developer.
I
And you
understand.
you see a glint of like mischief between the two of them.
Yeah, it's definitely like they're plotting, You know,
Yeah.
we are the smart people. We have to do smart things.
How was the king with advice?
As long as you make it seem like it was his idea to begin with, he takes his advice quite well.
Difficult, Thomas.
What are you proposing, Thomas?
Well, it sounds like if she doesn't find anyone soon, and if he does expire, it sounds like leaving the kingdom to her is a better option.
The kingdom of
mention.
Gaddafi is ruled by the nobles, and the king is one of them. The nobles. The rest of the nobles will want their piece of pie if there's not a male heir.
I think it's time that he changes that.
As head vizier and head physician, we have worked tirelessly to make... Because I was raised in Marseille. And things are different there from here. Lysander is a traveled man, and he has seen so much difference.
Unfortunately, with this being in the White Sword Confederacy, there's no law, no greater power that can change his mind.
He doesn't need a law that changes it, and I'm also from Marseille.
So
You
you
think
understand.
I do, and I think it's wrong. I think that if she becomes queen of this land and rules it as such, I think she would do a damn fine job at it. Not to mention, would you want some random arrogant prince to rule your kingdom?
We...
Honestly, I think that you hold Amber in too high regard. She is a very intelligent woman.
Very much so.
And perhaps she would make a good queen if she could stay focused on one task. She is
I would have to say
a free spirit.
she shouldn't be bound to one place. Flighty. She takes cruises on the...
She's an adventurous.
She
sort.
bought the boat with funds from several birthdays just so that she could get away.
Leave.
And her father knows it.
That's not to say that Violet would be.
She has taken to her book studies well. But the Seneschal would still... The Seneschal would still take over. And he is a decent man, but he is not of noble blood, and that would lead the other nobles to question the authority, and it could lead to civil war.
Thankfully, however, we do still have time. He's not in any sort of ill health.
No, we've made sure of that. Healthy doses of the good herbal teas, chocolates from faraway lands, exercise on and off his horse.
Yes, he's well taken care of, and I believe that once Violet reaches a more appropriate age, and with our guidance, we should be able to convince the king of an appropriate suitor, then he can worry less.
Yes.
Perhaps we can even reach out to your family in Marseille.
One of my cousins.
Yes.
It's a possibility. I have a few that are more than of the appropriate age, and they could easily be guided to being a decent suitor. So
Then we could possibly bring the change that Thomas is so adamant about.
that's true. Because my cousin would at least have the inclination and the understanding of something more diverse than what is here.
And you wouldn't be worried that, or rather, the king wouldn't be worried that magic would be in the bloodline?
Oh no.
No. Maybe. I mean, he could, but that would be something we could address.
I actually would think that he would be quite excited about it. More power in his bloodline, a stronger legacy.
Very true.
I believe that we could definitely convince him of this very good idea that he's going to have. And they both know.
Yeah.
Thomas momentarily thinks of his large family and how many brothers he had and how many sisters he had and everything of that nature. He doesn't speak up, but as Reginald speaks of family, I would imagine that both of them can see it on Thomas's face for a split second. He kind of just clears his throat, leans back, grabs his glass of wine, and shrugs a bit.
Are you going to drink the wine? The wine you said was too dry?
No.
Now it's like, fuck, I need to
No,
drink
but-
something.
And then you're like, oh, damn it, I don't want to drink
Yeah,
this.
it's one of those things where he drinks it and then he immediately goes, and he spits it out into his glass and sets it on the table again.
Why did I do that? You go to the restaurant, you get the water, and you drink the water, and it's like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
oh man, I've been there. All right, so do you have anything you want to add to this conversation?
No, I don't.
I'm trying
I
to think of
think-
what I want to add to the conversation. I think at this point in time, he goes, "Oh yes." So these pilgrims brought this, and we believe they're trying to gain influence on King Gaddafi.
Yes.
I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense. They didn't ask for anything grand. They asked for the permission to buy land, which they're outsiders. They don't have that permission. And so they've given a gift for the opportunity to get that land permission, which is fine and understandable. And as long as we don't find anything ill with the potion, then it'll be good.
Yes.
And he will make a decision how he wants to move forward from there. I personally have already planned that if there's a contingency of anything that goes wrong, I am going to, between now and then, attempt to get a sample of one of their hairs. I intend to, hold on to this, so in case I have to use my magic to track them down, in case this was some sort of terrible scheme to get rid of the king. And the king and I are working on an in case of emergency way to make sure he survives any possible poisons. Well, we haven't started talking about it yet, but we're going to.
And you think that you are able to create antidotes to poison?
I'm more than capable of creating antidotes to poisons. I have years of experience
Perhaps
working...
you should leave that to me.
I believe, actually, if you work together, there might be a way to enhance a potion.
And they both
Alchemy is very into the magic family. Well,
they
it
both
can
look
be
at Thomas.
Go on.
well, I mean, I don't have experience, but I've only heard details. And I've seen my sister do it numerous times when I was in college. But it's you make the potion and magic can enhance it. I've only heard of it. I've never done it. I'm not savvy in potion making. That's still very new to me.
Perhaps we can...
Come to some sort of compromise.
Yes.
You two very much have passion for your work. Consider taking that passion and putting it together. After all, you two are making these batteries, you called them?
Yes,
As you
batteries.
spoke of them,
Batteries.
As you spoke of them, you two lit up. Focus on that instead of bickering. Maybe you'll get something done together then.
Bickering?
We don't bicker.
We don't bicker.
Oh, please. You two are like an old married couple.
So, Reginald will excuse himself as he's done. He waves his hands, and he looks at everybody else, because this is like a private dining hall. If everybody's done, he waves his hands, and all the dishes begin sorting themselves out and putting themselves into different containers on one side of the room. And he says, I have to go down and scare the people in the kitchen. As he makes a gesture, the containers are sitting on a cart. The cart begins rolling itself out the door. Reginald opens the door and begins walking away, and he disappears, turns invisible.
And Lord Lysander rolls his eyes. This is one of his favorite pastimes. And then you see something like go off in his head, like a shocked light bulb. He's like, oh, I left him in my lab.
He left you in your lab.
That dwarf.
The fine dwarf.
Very helpful.
Bodrog?
That's his name. You know him?
Locked him in my lab.
He's a very close friend of mine, yes.
Oh, gosh. Oh, this is such a... Oh, I believe that I locked him in my lab.
I mean, I don't know what kind of things you have in that lab, but he's very curious.
Oh, yes, but... I should probably go and release him.
That would be best.
Come help me on the balcony.
Oh, yes. Will you please come up to the balcony? I need some assistance.
Of course. Sure.
So, he leads you up a short flight to get to the balcony, which extends out over the tower somewhat, and you see this strange contraption that looks kind of like wings, and with a series of straps that you... At first, you're not really sure what is going on, and then you see him pick it up and, like, hoist one of the straps over his shoulder, and he looks back at you. Can you please, grab that strap? And
Yeah.
I'm not quite as
sure.
limber as I used to be.
Yeah, Thomas helps him into it as he's gazing at this contraption and looking at the cogs and...
He grabs two
whatever.
bars above his head and begins messing with them for a minute or two. The wings start changing shape a little bit as he starts walking toward the edge of the balcony quickly.
Yes.
He's hunched over, too, so it's like the back end of this
Yes.
winged backpack sticks out a bit and folds into a position.
Well, it was lovely to meet you, Master Thomas. I hope that I get to enjoy the pleasure of your company again.
And then he surreptitiously climbs up onto the railing
And leaps off.
into the night.
Thomas just watches him jump off and he goes, hold on. And he runs towards the ledge and, looks over.
The wings have grown at least twice their length, and the tail, there's now a tail split out the back end. And like a very large and strange parachute, he begins descending. Ooh,
My mom
snacks.
got me chocolate.
Woo!
Snacks.
Thank you. Or do I get both? I get both! Thanks.
Chocolate time.
Go on.
And the winged apparatus begins descending him down toward the top of the hillside. And he's gone. And it's nighttime, and you are in the Castle Kadaf by yourself, hanging out on a balcony.
Great. Well, Thomas is kind of taken aback at a flying machine without magic. He thinks it's amazing. I think he'll start to leave because they didn't give him a room and he needs to find a room for the night. Unless he runs into
Go ahead.
Unless he runs into one of the princesses, then he'll have a chat with them, just to be polite. Or anyone for that
Do we
fact.
want to do a random encounter in the castle?
The king,
Oh, gosh.
a guard that's just on, white powder. He's just like, hey! And I'm like, oh, God.
You've had medicinal white tea lately, haven't you?
Great. No, I think that we can...
We can segue away from this? Okay, cool.
All right, John, it's been a few days.
Yes.
The last evening, when you returned to your rooms in the merchant's... Well, when we returned to the merchant's lodge, the desk butler... Which I got going on. The desk butler...
Yeah.
Waves his hand at you. Master Kodrog!
You mean the receptionist?
Yes,
That's not what we called him, though, remember?
desk butler.
I don't remember you calling him desk butler.
It is now.
Yeah, I will. I will approach the desk butler.
I'll be right back, guys. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You received a package. And so he pulls open a drawer, pulls out a thick, a leather-bound envelope, and hands it over to you.
Oh my. All right. Does it have any outward markings on it that would let me know where it came from?
It has the seal of the Royal House of Kadaf.
Oh goodness. I'm gonna take it back to my room and open it. Hurriedly. Scuttle down the hallway. Holding it like a football.
The desk butler is disappointed that you didn't open it so he could see what package would be so important to be sent from the royal palace.
Which, that disappointment is, Sit back down.
Noticing the desk butler's disappointment, I reach into my pocket to grab a coin to tip him with.
Okay.
Because I don't understand what his disappointment is for.
Okay, his disappointment disappears. He takes the coin.
Yeah.
Which I was going to let you know, dinner the other night cost you a total of 2 silver pieces.
Oh, excellent.
Dinner, flowers, wine, drinking, all the whole shebangs.
Yes. So you get to your room, you open the leather straps, you pop the seal that is holding the leather in place, and inside is a small pouch and a letter.
I will open the letter first.
You see that it is a letter from the court physician, from Lord Lysander, apologizing for abandoning you in his lab, and he hopes that you are in one piece and doing quite well. And please accept this purse as a compensation for for your assistance and for my forgetfulness.
Ooh.
So
I'm gonna put the purse in my hand and kind of weigh it. How much does it fill the palm of my hand?
2d6 plus 6.
2d6 plus 6.
It's asleep, baby boy.
Yeah, he does that to you. He's so heavy.
Okay, that's 7 plus 6. 13.
At least a dozen coins are in there.
Oh, I will empty the contents onto my little desk so that I can sort and count it.
13 silver coins lay onto your desk.
Yes.
You're rich.
That's a fair day's work.
For an engineer, yeah, that's a decent compensation. Yeah, so, the things between you and Maria have been going pretty good. Not every day is an amazing, we go wine and dine across the town because she's got stuff to do. Yesterday, she said that today she was going to be talking with... The day before that, she spoke with Jason about something, and then today she had to go hang out with Jason and do stuff with him, so she wouldn't be free until later. And at that point in time, she had a thought of what to do, but she doesn't know how work is going to go about because, Jason's been doing a lot of talk about getting the ship ready and pushing Gaz to get the hull fixed and stuff like that. So she's gone for the day. It's just you doing whatever it is that you want to do.
Okay. So while her and I were talking, I would have asked her to let me know if she gets any word on how soon crew might be left back on the boat, because I have some things that I need to retrieve, and
she would have
so
told
I can finish
you.
my business.
She would have told you. You can get back on now.
Oh.
Quartermaster is there every day. Has been there. She would have told you the first moment you asked that the quartermaster. So today, she says the quartermaster's there right now. and he's doing stuff on the boat. So yeah, you can get back on.
Okay, excellent. Good. Oh, okay, so, I'm not in a rush. So I think that I would like to see if I can find Arya and Narish on my, while I'm meandering around town trying to get back to the Amber Falls. I remember that, so I would swing by the baths just to, see if I see them around, looking up on the roofs to make sure Arya's not up there doing some music or whatever, gymnastics.
Magic.
Musical
gymnastics.
Thumb thing.
And I recall that we had met Narish at a bakery, like a street bakery guy.
Yeah.
So I would wander around that area.
All right.
Just to see if by chance the universe would put us together again.
Roll awareness.
Awareness. I'm good at that.
You are.
Yes, I can beat a 14.
Can you?
Barely. That's a 12.
You hear Arya's music and begin heading in a direction. You've left where you're at. You're wandering through streets. You go through the Golden Flounder. You head up to the baths. You go by the bakery. And probably about... So that you started, I'm assuming, maybe in the earlier part of the morning? Or did you wait a bit?
Oh, it would have been pretty early in the morning. Right
Okay,
after
so
I finished my breakfast fortress.
Nice. You've wandered up the hill a bit, and as you were walking up a main street, because you went by the bakery, and you just kept on walking, because you remember Narish had said, we're at an inn up the hill a little bit. So you're heading up the hill, and the hill's up is split into several tiers. So as you're walking up, you see an inn. Maybe this is it. It is on a hill a little bit up, but you hear music and singing. And so you start following that, and it's like a distance away, so you're hearing an echo. And so you start using your senses to kind of figure out where it's at. You come around on part of the steep side of the hill. There's a bit of a crowd, and you see Arya up on a small barn on the top of it, and she's playing music, and you can see that there's a crowd of people facing into a penned off or a fenced off area of dirt and whatnot. The fence is open on the side there that's nearest to you, and so people are kind of blocking it. But you can see Narish and a Keshin inside without shirts on, pummeling each other in a fisticuffs fight. And
Please
you can
tell
see...
me it's Bassianus.
No. You can see Narish has a bust lip and a bit of blood, while the Keshin definitely has a broken nose, and they're not holding back. It's like solid punches to draw blood and knock the other person out. It's like there's no rules, just beat the other one in the face.
So does it look semi-organized? Like there's a crowd there, and
there's a man taking
onlookers?
bets, and he's dealing with money and numbers.
Oh, excellent. So I'm gonna approach. This is interesting. It's been a long time since I got to see a bare knuckle fight. That wasn't a brawl.
Yeah.
Fight for your life type of thing.
Yeah, or for the honor of the ship.
So, as you approach the scene, there's at least 24 men and women standing around of various races. No dwarves, but Failings, humans, Takiao, and Keshins watch, and they cheer. And they're like, yeah, get him. Don't let that Krotek beat you. And, don't be afraid. He doesn't have mind powers. He can't read your mind. And somebody's like, no, they can. They can totally read your mind. That's how he's winning. And so this is what people are yelling, and there are bets. And Narish is smiling from ear to ear, dodging blows, laying a solid punch into the guy's midsection, or getting a nice solid punch to the side of his face. He leans back before he comes back in. As you get close, the man who's got a hat that's jingling quite a bit, he looks, you want in? Fight's almost over. You want in? I'll give you half odds.
Yeah, I'll put a silver on the Krotech.
That'll pay you out too. Nice bid. He grabs your silver, tosses it into the hat, and the music stops for a moment. And in catching the glance, Arya is waving at you. She stopped playing her pan flute.
and it's like nice finger,
Yeah.
like the finger wave, and then she goes back to playing her flute.
I'll give a little wave back.
At this point, Arya wants to tell Narish something because somebody they were. She will tell Narish that.
Well, he's the mother in the fight.
Yeah, why not? She does that, you know.
Okay.
So he knows to finish it.
Yeah, so he.
So, I gotcha.
Okay.
So she hops down from the top of the barn and lands in the ring itself with her flute in hand. My dear Narish,
Yes.
it's time to go.
Now,
Yes.
but we've whack, just got started.
But, oh, Kodrog's here, and I don't want to keep him waiting.
Oh, whack! Right. And then Narish reaches forward, grabs the man's fist as it comes in, pulls him in so his fist connects with his head, and the Keshan's head makes an odd motion. Then Narish grabs him, throws his knee into his face twice, flips him over on his knee onto the ground, and then drops the Keshan and looks to you. Ha Kodrog! Blood coming out of his face from the last punch.
Oh yeah, I'll wave up to Narish and then I'll hold my hand out to get my pay from the...
So you're holding, and everybody's like saying, get up, and the Keshan is just laying there, like trying to move at this point in time. The referee runs over, grabs him, looks at him, is like, call the Stitch, he needs help. And some people start cheering and whatnot, and the guy opens the hat and starts coughing out and drops 2 silver into your hat, into your hand.
Nice.
And he starts paying, he's looking at, you didn't, no, not you, yes you, okay, here you go, here's yours.
So, and Arya takes out a silk cloth and begins like wiping the blood off of his face. It's like, you did so well.
Sweetheart.
Did it look entertaining?
Oh, very much.
Oh, good. Everybody seemed really happy with the whole fight.
The energy was very rowdy.
I liked it.
Good. I'm so glad.
Let's get our winnings.
Excellent.
So, as they walk over to one of the guys, like, that's totally rigged, blah, blah. He was not throwing his full weight into it. And Narish walks up and says, yes, I wasn't, because I wanted the fight to be a fight. I didn't want to just destroy my opponent. He could have won, but he made mistakes. I just didn't take advantage of those mistakes when he made them. And like the guy's like, that threw the fight, you're not a fair fighter, and stuff like that. And Narish says, well, then you and I can battle. And the guy's like, no.
Looks at the Keshan, looks at Narish, looks at the Keshan.
And
when Narish says that, I hold up my 2 silver, like I'm ready to place my bet.
the guy's like, never mind, broken dealings. And he seems the only one pissed off, and so he wanders off like, rigged fight, blah, blah, blah. Everybody gets their money. He scoops out a decent amount of coins and hands it to Arya, the guy does, and then he takes the rest, sticks a few into his pocket, and puts the hat on. And glad to meet you two, he says to Arya and Narish. And,
Well, hopefully we get to see you again sometime.
yes, ma'am. You know where I'm at. If you come back through town and you're looking to make some quick coin, a good street fight is always worth it.
Maybe we could take the fight somewhere more private next time. What do you think,
Oh,
Narish?
gosh.
Oh, and he reaches out and he grabs the guy on the shoulder. He's like, this does sound like a fine idea. And the guy's like, well, private fights are kind of a little bit, I guess we could. Maybe something with more prize money involved.
And maybe an extra opponent for my friend here. We don't want to insult him again.
Yes, of course. Of course. I'm going to go now. And he excuses himself out of the conversation.
such a nervous little man.
I think he was afraid of you.
I don't know why. Right. Kodrog, it's so wonderful to see you again. And she comes up and she puts her arms around you and kisses both your cheeks.
Oh gosh. I'm not blushing, you're blushing. My friends, I'm so glad that I found you. We
were
I buy you a
seeking
drink?
you.
Oh, how fortuitous.
Well, we weren't seeking you right off the bat, but we would going to.
Yes. We were hoping that you could introduce us to...
Someone on your ship.
Yes. The person who decides who goes on the ship.
Well,
What do you call
let's...
those? Recruiters. We would like to speak with your recruiter.
You got it. It took a long time. You got it.
Well, we can discuss that, as well as another proposition that I have for the two of you. Perhaps over a pint.
Propositions? I love those.
All right.
I'll like wink. Proposition.
All right. Do you have a thought to where to grab this drink at? Because I can make some suggestions.
Please.
Up the hill a bit farther, there's this rustic old tavern called the Iron Stall. Yes. And when I saw it the other day, it looked inviting. I could smell beer, bread, and blood coming from it. It looked like they had a sand pit for fighting. I wanted to go check it out, but we met Elkar over there, and he suggested a street fight. And so now you know where the day has gone. We've made enough coin to pay for our tavern, our stay at our inn.
Yes.
Oh, well, that sounds like a great idea. Perhaps you can inquire about a fight in the sand pit later.
That would be fun.
Multiple jobs all at once.
Great, then I will lead the way. You two don't dawdle because I'm just going to push my way through the crowds.
Of course, love. We won't be far behind.
And he throws a cape on and grabs his shirt and just begins walking, pushing people
Just
out of the way.
imagine someone's in his way and he just grabs them by the shoulders and lifts them and moves them and then
Yep.
keeps moving.
Pretty much it.
Arya takes your arm and she's like, come on, we best not keep him waiting.
Oh, of course, my lady. And I'll hurry along behind him so that we can draft in his wake.
You make it to the iron stable, and it looks like a half burnt down building people have added extra supports to. One part of it has been burnt down and never been built up back again. You're definitely at the top of the hill, and there is a pretty sizable, like a sandy pit to one side as you walk in. This building is not rainproof, but it's filled with bread piled onto a table, some cheese. There are barrels of ale along one wall, and it definitely looks like the main event here is beating people up like on a Saturday night.
Drinking and fighting.
Drinking and fighting. But this is during the day, and so all they've got is ale, bread, and cheese.
Excellent.
You walk in, the portly woman, the portly Takiao, sitting near the ale, sits up, dusts herself off. Greetings. Can I help you?
Yes, we would love to get some mugs.
Right. 3 leather jacks.
Of course.
No failings.
My dear, what in the world would you suggest that for?
She pulls out a tiny mug that looks like it's for a child.
No failings.
She nods, grabs 3 rather large, pint-sized mugs, hits the tap and pulls the cork and begins allowing the amber-colored fluid to pour into each one. Not even stopping, just pop, pour, move to the next one, shove the cork back in, slam them onto the table.
Excellent.
Yes.
How much? Like, price there.
I don't know, I would say it's
Probably 3 bits.
3 bits.
Yeah. How many bits comes out of a coin?
2. No, 4.
No,
I'll put-
4.
4, yeah, I was to say.
4.
it's like
Okay, 4.
four.
So I'll just put a full coin on, a full copper.
She takes it. Change.
No, thank you.
She puts it into her pocket. She takes a piece of bread, chops it into 4 pieces, chunks up some cheese, drops it in it, tosses it onto a piece of slate onto the oven.
So, Kodrog, what is this proposition?
Oh. So I'm gonna look over both my shoulders, and are there like tables that people can sit at and
Yes,
stuff?
you
I'm gonna
3
pick-
are the only 3 in here.
Other than
okay.
the Take Yao.
Well, still, you never know. There might be invisible people at some of the middle tables.
That's true.
That's such a good
pick,
idea for like a wizard bar. Sorry, got inspiration. Continue.
I'm gonna pick, like one of the corner booths that is usually reserved for shady business.
Got it.
There's a sign above them, shady business only.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I need that sign in my life.
Well, my friends, I find myself in need of an escort today.
An escort?
Is something wrong? Is someone
Oh, no.
threatening you?
Oh, no, nobody would dare openly threaten me. However,
He can handle himself if so.
I do have some rather delicate business to attend to today, and I would just feel more comfortable if I had company. Company that I was sure could handle themselves if anything went wrong.
I suppose.
We would have to charge.
Absolutely, undoubtedly. I would have to pay if you didn't.
Well,
Even if you didn't.
our normal guard cost is 8 copper for the 2 of us for 1 day's worth of time. If it gets bad, it's an extra 5 copper pieces. And of course, if we're protecting nobility, that goes from copper to silver.
Yes, because
They have the money.
they do.
Well, I'm sorry to say I'm not nobility.
You look regal.
Majestic.
That's a good word, too.
I am wearing my new outfit today, too, so, not my threadbare scrubbing the planks uniform. Anyways, I will be going to the ship to retrieve some items, and I know that the quartermaster will be there today. I would be happy to make some introductions, because I know that we are looking to take on some new crew members.
Excellent.
I like this.
What would you say to 5 copper and introductions?
This is part of the negotiations that I don't deal with. The Takeyao woman comes over and puts down the stone tablet on the edge and slides the piece of cheese-covered bread onto the table and then walks off.
Let's make it 6. So 3 and 3.
Her and our money is separate, but I generally spend all mine on her.
You're so lovely.
Okay, so it's 10 copper
Goals.
is 1 silver.
Couple goals.
Yes, 10 to 1.
A 10 to 1. Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure it wasn't something like, Harry Potter math or something.
No.
Harry Potter man.
We have a deal, and still the extra 5 if anything goes wrong.
Excellent. So, when do we want to leave? I mean, after we eat, obviously.
Narash is just grabbing the bread and he's like ripping it apart, and the cheese is gooing in both directions. And he's like twisting it up in his hand.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yes, I mean, it's I assume still early in the day since I got an early start.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no rush as long as the business is done before shops close up.
Okay. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. So you guys eat.
Yes.
Maybe about 30 minutes or so, you guys then pack it up and head down the road.
Yep. Make it to
Oh,
the-
before we leave, if Narish fails to ask, I'll inquire about the sand pit and its potential purposes.
She says when the sun goes down, she points at a section of wall that has slate on it. We mark up all who want to fight, and then we start making wagers.
Every night.
Every night. I have a priest in the poke around the corner in case somebody gets badly hurt. But if you get killed, that's not my problem. We're right outside city limits, so the rules here are different.
That's amazing.
Shall we
Excellent.
take a break?
Yeah, it's time for us to take a break. We are at a break time. Break time.
Breaky.
Doodly doo. We will be back in a few minutes, everybody.
Yay! BRB.
And we are back.
Yes. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Cassie, this is Max, and you're adventuring with us in the Shattered Isles.
Woo.
Yes.
Woo. In the early morning sun, the harbor glistens and the air is filled with the sting of the sea breeze. The Amber Falls takes up a large portion of the secure harbor, taking the space that could easily hold 3 galleons. As you and your compatriots cross the King's Bridge, you see a line of people queued up down the boardwalk. The line is half the length of the Amber Falls. The occupants of the line are humans, Tekiao, Keshans, and Phalings. At the head of the line, the quartermaster, Arthur, the sailmaster, Anne, and the doctor are there. Arthur and Anne are sitting at a table covered in papers, paperweights, quills, and inkwells. There's a third person sitting at the table with them. It's a Tekiao. They seem to be scribing on pieces of paper, most likely an assistant of some type. The doctor stands nearby after someone speaks with Arthur and Anne, and then begins looking them over. Kojak?
So this is obviously the line of sailors that are looking to get on the crew. Like, I would be familiar with this kind of a site.
Yep.
Okay. Well, since I am already crew, I'm going to cut up to the front to the table and see if I will be allowed to board.
What about your 2 compatriots?
Oh, well, I see. I have a plan.
All right, so you're taking them with you.
Oh, yes. Yeah, they have
Right.
to join me. I mean, because, I can't really charge introduction if all I'm doing is putting them in a line.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So?
Who should recognize him? Arthur or Anne? Or the doctor?
Well, the doctor just is getting started on its latest patient. So, probably Arthur. I'm pretty sure Anne's the one that's initially talking to people.
Yeah, she will stand up and be leaning over the table, making eye contact with them as they come walking up. She begins tapping on papers. As you begin walking, their attention is to this line, so you're kind of like circumventing it a little bit to come around. And as you break the bare edge of the line, Arthur bellows out, "Koldrog, what are you doing?"
Oh, well, I will immediately, when he recognizes me, I'll do my little salute thing that I always do, and I will hurry up to the table to explain to Arthur why I'm there.
All right.
Forgive me, Quartermaster,
Go ahead.
for the intrusion. However, I have some items I need to retrieve from my bunk, and I've also brought these 2 fine people to introduce them to you, because I know that they could be value added to our crew.
He becomes squinty eye and stares at you deeply, the kind of stare that he's digging into you at this point in time as he looks past you at Narish and Arya.
She leans over to Narish. He looks so fearsome and tough.
He does. He looks like he has been stabbed many times in the face.
It's still a handsome face, though.
I cannot disagree. Arthur looks at the 2 of them. They're not really that quiet. You and Arthur both hear what they just said. Arthur looks back to you, Kodrog. He has yet to say anything.
I'm straight-faced. Like, I did not hear anything that they've said. I can personally vouch for their usefulness in a fight.
Arthur turns back his gaze to them and then moves it over to Anne before a man in the line says, Hey, don't cut, I'm next. And Anne looks to him and says,
You can wait. And then she does a motion over to Narish and Arya. And Arya looks behind her and is like, Don't worry, darling, we won't take too long.
The man, shivers for a moment,
And so I'll look to Arthur and Anne and permission to board?
He's still staring. His gaze has now moves back to you as he's checking out these two individuals. And he says, Make it quick. We've got to get everything prepped for cargo soon.
Aye, sir. And I'll hustle up the
as you go to move, his arm reaches back, grabs a hold of you, and he pulls you back just a short distance as he's clasped onto your shoulder bit. And he says, Shore leave will be closing soon. And he lets you go.
All right. I just hurried to my bunk. I'm getting my money box and my official stamp so that I can seal my letter to the my handler, explaining what went down in Spindlehaven.
Okay.
Excellent. So you get all of the equipment and things that you need. You have your letter. You've got everything packed securely on your person. And as you walk out and back onto the deck and down to the dock itself, you see that Narish and Arya are now in front of Cyrix, the doctor. And Arya is giggling
At every whoosh, every motion of his antenna, the brushy featheriness, just
He's so tickly.
and you can see on Narish's face, he's just smiling oh my, every time she giggles, it gets him, he's excited.
It's like, I've never experienced any Terran before. I had no idea they were so gentle.
The doctor, of course, is doing his task, and he seems unfettered by this entire event, while Arthur and Anne are staring on in somewhat horror or disbelief, you're not sure, but they've stopped everything they're doing as they're watching this, strange tickle fest.
Yes. So if they're having a conversation with Cyrix, you haven't been brushed into it, so you're not exactly sure what is going on.
Yeah.
You head down the gangplank as you're catching up with your two compatriots, and Arthur gives you a hand gesture for you to come.
Oh yeah, I'll approach without hesitation.
He slides a piece of paper over towards you, looking at it with a very bit of seriousness. He dabs a quill into the ink and puts it in direction towards you. You vouch for them. Your name goes on this piece of paper.
Oh. I will make my legal mark upon the paper.
He takes it after you're finished, slides it over to the scribe, who then puts it in and starts marking on it and doing stuff as she begins organizing. And Sirik turns his attention to Narish at this point in time and brushes him one time. And Narish goes, Whoa!
Isn't it fun?
This is strange. I can hear him in my head.
Yes.
And you can, there's...
And then they're all silent
They're
together.
all silent together.
And every once in a while, and you see the expressions on Narish's face change, and you see Arya smiling and giggling and then she brushes, she'll brush Cyrix too, just in a copycat motion, and she's just this is so interesting.
Yes. And as you're standing there, he takes the quill from you. You vouch for them. And he puts the quill down. What can they do? He says that she can be a rigger. And she looks more like a dancer. And he looks more like a thug.
Well, she's certainly capable of doing any work a rigger can do. She is lithe and agile.
Still squinting.
And Narish, I mean, he is he's strong and capable, and
Riggers, both of them. And he stamps 2 pieces of paper and slides it over to the scribe. And then he turns to the person at the front of the line, and Anne says,
Name?
my name is Digby.
Digby. And...
Digby Horner.
Excellent. And what is your experience?
My father and I used to sail a fishing vessel up and down the coast. Schooning.
You are aware that this ship will be going into the void?
Yes, ma'am.
And you are aware that you could be gone for anywhere between 3 months to 2 years at a time?
Yes, ma'am. And he's like playing with his hat.
And what is it? She'll be like, and what role would you like to fill on the ship?
Rigger is fine, ma'am. I've been in masts before. Arthur turns and looks to you at this point in time. Do you want to help? Looking at Kodrog.
oh wait, I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention
He's
to the conversation.
watching like the 3 of them, like Cyrix and Narish and Arya doing whatever the fuck they're doing.
But you're still standing next to the table next to Arthur, and he realizes, so he leans to one side, squints, and says, "Are you looking to help?"
No, sir. I'll be on my way as soon as the doctor's finished with them.
Keep an ear out. Keep your address close. I mean, I know where you're staying. Shore leave will be ending soon.
I'll keep a lookout for crew and spread the word as I can.
Really? He reaches down and pulls out an envelope, a thick, sizable envelope, and slaps it to you. I guess you're helping then. Go by these addresses and let everyone know that we leave out within the next 2 to 3 days and that they need to report in. And find out if they're there, and if you have to, track people down. Don't worry. And he slaps you on your shoulder after you take the folder. It's in your pay.
Aye, sir. I try to sound not perturbed by the whole ordeal, but
So, as you're finishing your discussion with Arthur, the 2 of them come back up to, like, walking up behind Arthur in your direction as Anne passes on the Digby, the potential rigger, to be have his health inspection from Dr. Cyrix. And as they walk up, Arya will like just gently like brush Arthur's shoulder. She's like, "I'm so excited to be working with you."
He goes back to writing.
Goodbye for now.
she is lithe and agile. Bringing in his ears in Kodrug's voice.
Good with her hands.
You know, a little swish of her tail because she's
See, that's bothering him though. She's got a tail.
she's got a tail.
Aw.
She's much more cat-like than he is.
Yeah, she's a Mao from Lycania, and he knows it. He's just like, they're unnatural. You know,
Yeah.
It's the terrible thing, but that's what is in his head because in his mind, he's not used to that.
I have a question.
Lithe and agile.
I have a question about that. Can there be a hybrid of Ayakeshan and what her race is?
A Mao?
Yeah, a Mal.
It's
No, because Maos are nothing more than a type of human. There can be a half Mao, half human, but if a Mao and a human are to have a child, that child could come out as a Mao or a human. But if they're on Lycania, the isle itself, when their child is born, it can come out as something not like them. It could come out as one of the other lower class.
yeah.
Because the magic of the
class.
Lycania is weird.
Okay. I was just thinking because I totally forgot. Ketchins, they don't have tails.
They
and
don't.
In my head, Bassianus totally has a tail. So
Maybe
So maybe
he's not a
Bassianus
Keshin.
is a Mao.
he is though, because he's big and muscular and amazing.
I'm just saying, if he's got a tail, he is not a Keshin.
But I do imagine him as a Keshin.
Okay, then he
But
has...
yeah, but that's the thing. If even the image that I have for him is very lion-esque.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, maybe he is a Mal. He's just very fit,
It's true.
very beefy.
He's a beef Mao.
All right.
Beef Mao.
So, Kodrog, what was it that you needed to take care of?
I need to make it to a inter-isle postal service, and also to a reputable bank that will transfer funds for me.
Okay. I don't see that there's a problem finding either of those things, but you're definitely going to have armed escorts for this purpose, right?
Oh yeah. And that was the only thing that I wanted to make sure that if I got ambushed while I'm carrying my money box, that I'm not the only one defending it.
Good call. Very
Yeah.
good call.
Because what, we got paid like 22 gold?
22 gold pieces, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How much of that did you hang on to?
So I've actually, I think, managed to only need to hold on to like 2 gold from it. So I'm going to send 20 of it back.
Cool. Yeah, you get to the bank and explain yourself. He will charge you for the direction and where you're going to. Do you want it sent to the aisle immediately? Do you want it... this is the bank. Do you want the money sent to the aisle? Do you want it put into an account?
Ooh.
Because that's going to cost money in either direction. If it goes into an account here, he will hold on to it, but he'll charge you an interest rate for holding on to it over a period of time. It's a small amount. It's like a few bits over the course of a year.
Yeah.
If he sends it somewhere, it could cost a couple of copper pieces to send that amount. And then, of course, they use reputable couriers, but things can happen in the void. And there is insurance. You could purchase insurance on your money.
Things can happen in the void. This one time, a whale ate my giant bank.
And then it barfed it up, and then we stole it.
I mean, hey, that could be a sailor tale. I don't know. Whales eat treasure. There's a animal that eats treasure, so people hunt them, even though they don't eat treasure.
The Kraken.
Well, you know that there's people out there that's like, oh, that slug ate my pocket coin. All slugs do that. They all have pocket coins. Kill them.
There you go.
And then they realize that they don't have pocket coins, but the word doesn't get around fast enough, and that's what makes people endangered.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna have the money actually sent to the aisle.
Okay, so their options are hold on to the money until the aisle gets really close, or try to navigate a direction which will get to the aisle before it gets close. He does some math, and he pulls out some charts, and he says if he sends it directly to the aisle, it'll be there in about 3.5 months. If we wait for it to get closer, it will be there, 4 months. Never mind, sending it there directly is going to be better. And then he looks at his little chart and how much you're sending. He's like, that's going to cost you 6 copper pieces and 2 bits.
Okay. So I'll pull out a silver to cover it.
All right, he takes the silver and starts forking out some change. He takes the rest of the money, you're going to give him the lockbox because you assume that the family's going to have the matching key to open it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he takes the lockbox, he puts it into another lockbox, locks it, hands you the key to this lockbox, and then he takes that key and he says, this key will be mailed to the location separately on a different shipment, so it should arrive first, or at least separate from the box itself.
Excellent.
And he gives a nod. So you're paying for security purposes. Now, the insurance on this is going to be another 2 copper and 1 bit, so he takes that back out of the silver, and he gives you basically a bit back. And now it's insured, all 20 gold pieces.
Excellent.
So it basically costs you a silver to ship it and insure it.
Very
like it.
confident and reliable.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Okay. And
Alright.
the courier service for your message, do you want to make any details about your message? Or are you good with, do you already have a, like, you're just, hey, this is what happened?
Oh yeah, no, it's a I guess it might even be like several sheets of parchment in detail of the information that I was able to extract and the unfortunate consequences that the type of punishment that was doled out to the offender.
Okay.
Because it's all covered in legal, but they need documentation of it.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you hand this guy like a quarter of a ream of paper, and he's like, you dwarves write too much. All right. Stuck it into his package, seal it up, wax seal, bam. You give a wax seal, bam. 2 seals on it. And then he binds everything up, and he says, okay, you pay him the information. He sits there and says, okay, I'm going to have to go find a courier and stuff like that. So
I'll gladly pay extra to make sure it gets there quickly.
okay, like all right, I have to go by the merchant's lodge to schedule it out, but let's just settle on 5 copper pieces, and then I'll find a runner. Unless you want me to like make sure this gets there faster, then it's going to be 2 silver. And then I'll make sure I do it myself, and I carry it halfway. Unless you want me to take it the whole way. And then that's going to be like 5 silver.
Oh man.
Because I have to buy passage for myself on there. Otherwise, I'm just going to send it with them. I'm going to head south to Afria and find a courier that'll take it from there.
How much? It was gonna be 5 silver for him to do to himself.
Yep.
I'll put 6 on the counter.
He scoops 6 up and looks and begins making arrangements. He's like, okay. Gathers a backpack, puts it in it. He's like, I got a couple of letters going there anyways. I'll wander around town, see if anybody else has got some messages I can carry, make this a little bit cheaper on myself. Thank you so much. I promise you I'll get it there. And we'll say that this guy is a human traveler. Human courier. Okay. So now he'll go around barking around town going, hey, I'm going here. I'm going here. Anybody need to go there? Send something there?
Excellent. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all the personal business I had.
Excellent.
Okay. You crack open that folder and begin looking down the list of addresses and names.
Yeah.
Enu,
Oh,
Curly, Connor, Barnacle, Nibley, Tabitha. Oh, fuck, Larry.
Oh gosh. So yeah, like as
They
I'm looking
haven't
down this
kicked
list,
him off the ship yet. Like,
he accepted his punishment. You know.
he did. He's a good man.
He's also a,
he's not retiring. Like
Just-
he's also a skilled crew. Well, you got to find out. You're going to have to go out. But before that
Oh, yeah,
happens,
yeah.
we're going to go check up on Thomas.
excellent. I'm gonna take Narisha and Arya to dinner to close out their helping me before I get on this list.
Man, you're making like some tight bonds with them.
Yeah, you're making some hard
Super
friendships.
tight.
So I'm like, we're gonna have to do a blood oath because I vouched for them, so I share in any of their punishment.
Yeah?
So yeah, like after dinner we'll be blood brothers, sisters.
Thomas, the other day when you were leaving the castle, you did luck out, and you ran across Violet, and the two of you had a fun, quaint little conversation in the hall, which led you to following her to one of her, what are they called? Maids. One of her maids' rooms, where you and her and the maid spent a little bit of time chatting, even though it was late and she was supposed to be in bed. She's the princess. She can do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
When it was found out that you had to go because you needed to get some place to stay, Violet said, I own the entire tower on that side of the castle. You can go stay in it. I have plenty of rooms. My daddy gave it to me. So Princess Violet is opening her doors to let you stay in the castle. And she said you can stay as long as you want because you, and she'll lean in and whisper, you saved me.
I was really hoping for you. You're my favorite.
Oh, never mind. And yeah, that's exactly what you're my favorite. That's so much better.
Yeah, Thomas will just go, oh, thank you, Princess. That's very generous. Is it too much to ask for, we must do a tea party later on before I leave. Take my leave.
I would love to have a tea party with you, Master Thomas. Oh, I'm so excited. I will send you an invitation for tomorrow.
Sounds amazing.
So don't leave the castle.
Yeah. So, Thomas will actually get up. How late is it?
Oh, it's probably like a little after midnight.
Okay.
When you get over
Thomas
when you get over to the tower.
Thomas will bow to the princess, say goodnight and stuff, and be very polite, and then exit. And instead of heading directly to the tower, I want to say he knows where Jason's staying, but
Sure.
I don't
yeah.
know.
Sure. You swing by the room you think is his, and you knock on it. Nothing.
Great.
You knock again. Or do you?
Yeah. I
Nothing.
think I will. Yeah, I think I'll pivot and turn and start heading towards the ship, because I don't know where Arthur is either, so I want to ask him where Captain Harris is.
The ship? The ship is several hours away through the night and at the bay. You'll have to walk through streets. It's dark. It's well into the AMs at this point in time. You can. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying your body goes, what? I'm tired.
You've never been up this late. What are you doing?
There are dirty magazines I want to be looking at right now.
You got that new book. Just go into your room and read it. Fuck. Well, yeah, I guess he'll head to the tower and call it a night.
So the next...
He doesn't know magic to teleport around, so...
No. Not powerful enough for that, right?
Well, that and, like, I deal damage, so...
So, when you're about the castle the next day, you ask around, and Jason is most likely out at his manor. If he's not in the castle or at the ship, he's at his manor. Which, if you want, they can send a letter down to his manor and the ship looking for him. But they know he's been out and about. It's one of the benefits of hanging out in the castle is people know a lot of shit, and couriers are free.
Yeah, I guess so. I'll do that. While I go to Violet's tea party.
Okay. The next day, the only other thing that happens is, of course, the court wizard wants you to come hang out with him as he does court wizardly things. And then, of course, that's just like hanging out, meeting some people, solving some problems. And then you have a wonderful evening with the tea party. Afternoon?
Yes.
Okay. Afternoon.
Tea, yeah, afternoon tea.
Afternoon tea. And so Violet, of course, then asks if you're going to stay another night.
Yes.
In the tower.
It's a nice tower.
Yeah. I would like to. There's no other place for me in the city right now.
Oh.
Unless you need it.
You don't have a manor? I thought all mages had really big manors.
I did have a manor, but it's all the way across the sea.
Oh. And you can't go there like... What's the other wizard's name?
Court mage.
And you can't go there like the court mage?
She doesn't have to know his name.
Yeah, that's true.
Not yet. My magic isn't fully, completely there, and I don't really know that magic as well as he does.
Magic is strange.
Very much is.
Well, you are more than welcome to use my tower for as long as you are here. You will be my honored guest. Sip.
Thank you very much, Princess Violet. That's very honorable indeed.
The maids, she will assign one of her maids to assist you. Turn down beds, fetch water, food, take care of whatever it is that you're needing to do. So you're not without attendees while you're here.
That's nice, okay.
That evening after dinner, which you got an opportunity to eat dinner, not with Princess Violet, but a couple of the other staff members. The kitchen staff is fun and laid back. That evening, you...
Right? Yeah. Go.
Yes. That evening, so you're there, there's two maids tending to your bed and fixing stuff and making you a nice thing of tea at night and wandering around, the clinking and whatnot. As you're gathering and getting comfortable, there's definitely like a familiar feel to this whole like scenario as you're in, as you realize that you've sunk into the same place that you were about a decade plus ago, at home, as you were being waited on hand and foot by the lesser classed individuals, while the wizards were all attended to. And although that's not what's really going on, somewhere inside Thomas, he's reminded of this.
Yeah. Yeah, I would imagine as, like, I don't know, the maids are fixing up his room.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas just kind of goes, you don't have to do that, I can do that. You can take the rest of the night off if you need to.
Oh no, it's fine. We like doing this. This is fine. It's fine, right?
Yes, it's our job.
It's our job.
It's a-
You just relax, Master Thomas. And it rolls right up your spine.
Yeah. I don't mean to be rude, but I insist.
Oh,
Please, take the night off.
okay.
Well, thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much. You have a blessed night.
But
You as well.
if you need us, we will be in our quarters. Yes.
Very well.
Come along. And she grabs her friend's hand and the two of them leave. They seem blushed. Maybe flustered, but definitely blushed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that this has never happened to them, so...
Yeah.
Thomas will, wait for them to leave, close the door behind him, or behind them, and, he'll pour himself a glass of tea, or a mug of tea, and, I'm assuming there's a desk in there?
Yes.
So, yeah, he'll just sit at the desk and kick up his feet on the bed and start reading, and just wait until he's exhausted, and then sleep, because I can't search for, I can't text Jason and be like, yo, you up? So...
It's true. You did
Yeah.
text him. You sent a message out to the two places he could possibly be. This is what people did before phones.
Yep. So yeah, that's what he'll do. And he can't go wandering about the castle, because that might seem suspicious.
Yep. No one's told
So-
you where you can't walk. And you know
Exactly.
that there's probably some places you can't walk.
Yeah.
So the morning comes, and
No.
did you want to do it at that night?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can do it at that night. I'm going to let you take it.
So yeah, a little. You're comfortable. The sun has just recently set, and you are thinking about maybe wrapping things up. Maybe after this chapter. Maybe. It's getting really
Said
good.
every Netflix goer ever. Maybe after this episode.
Exactly.
One more episode.
And as you're contemplating, you hear a knock on your door.
Yeah, without looking up from his book, he just goes, "Come in."
One of the maids from earlier opens the door. I'm sorry to interrupt your evening, Master Thomas.
Oh, please, it's nothing. I'm just reading, and he'll sit up.
I know that you told that we were to be relieved for the night. However, we received a message from Princess Amber. She would like to meet with you if you're available.
Oh,
She was most kind.
yeah, and he'll stand up and grab his cloak and pull on his boots and basically gesture, and he goes, "Well, lead the way then."
When you follow them, you pass by a series of windows, and you notice that there's a carriage, like 3 carriages parked in the courtyard area. And when you passed by here earlier today, there were none.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
That's his.
Right.
Right. Just pointing out, so you know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. I already
Okay.
know.
Spoiler alert.
So, are you gonna keep going with that description?
Oh,
That's what
Sorry.
I was like. you had the
sorry, I
idea.
looked over. I did. I had the initiative. There it was. The momentum was going. I looked over, and there's my food. I apologize. I dropped the ball. So you're moving through the hall. You look out a series of windows into the courtyard. You see 3 carriages. As you move a little bit forward and whatnot, you can see that one of the carriages have a cresting mark, and you think that's Jason's. The maids lead you to a length of hall and up a small flight of stairs, and then like servants' stairs, not main stairs. And they take you to a study. She gets up, and as she gets to the door, she raps on it. And because this is like late, and then there's a female voice from the inside,
Come in.
and then the maid opens the door.
Well, you're the female voice.
Oh, yeah, yes, right. Come in. And then the maid opens the door. "Milady, we have retrieved Master Thomas for you." And the maids step in before you so that you can walk in.
And
Yeah, I'll walk in.
as you walk in, you see Princess Amber and
Captain Harris sitting in front of the fire. The room is a study. Fireplace, chairs, books, bottles of little bottles of alcohol around, collections of trophies stored here by the king.
sherry decanter.
Depicts like a period of about 10 years of his life in this room. As there's like a suit of armor and a painting of him on a horse.
Gaudy.
Yeah, you know.
He doesn't say it out loud, but he thinks it. He looks at it and he goes, like...
Thomas, you're looking well. Have you been enjoying your stay at the castle?
I have, actually. The tower is very comfortable. I'm surprised your sister owned it.
It was a birthday gift on her first birthday from our father. So as she had reins and choice to do whatever she wanted with it, except for the highest floor and the dungeon beneath.
That's understandable.
How... Please, come in, have a seat. We need to talk.
And Amber gives a wave of the hand to the maids, who then bow and quickly exit the room.
Shutting the door behind them. There is nobody else in this room but the 2 of you.
The 3 of you.
The 3 of you. Harris walks over and pulls a curtain across the wall where the door is at to help muffle sounds. And then he journeys over to the side where the windows are at. He pulls them to, locks them, and then pulls the curtains to as well to help muffle sound and make sure no one can see into the room at this late hour.
As this happens, Thomas is like watching him, and he'll move to the table and sit down. And as he like reaches the windows, Thomas just goes, "This seems serious," and kind of like perks up a bit.
Amber has a table nearby that has papers on it, and she's looking down at it. She spins. She's wearing an evening gown, well, a late night gown. I wouldn't say an evening gown.
Mm-hmm.
You know, something that's close to getting ready for bed.
Yes.
And she glides over to the table, and she puts her hand on the table and says, "How do you like court life?
I'm sorry? What was that? You cut out there.
How do you like court life?
It's interesting.
Go on.
Well, there's many of openings, potentials.
She'll give a nod and look to Harris.
Have you learned anything of interest? Well, it's more like have you enjoyed your time with the court mage?
He's a bit stuffy for my taste, but occasionally.
You get a
Dinners
smile.
Are boring and
Yeah.
dinners are boring, and Lancaster and him will bicker, and I feel like I'm the child watching two parents get into a divorce every time every time we go out. But
You get a smile from Harris, but Amber's face does not change. Do you think you wish to stay?
it's debatable. It depends, and Thomas will give Harris a particular look.
Yeah, the smile is gone from his face. He's, you see that, he's just kind of waiting
Yeah.
with forced impassivity.
She reaches from the table and she pulls on a bit of her hair that's hanging down in front of her, and she plays with it.
What?
You've seen her pose, and she's, you can tell that she's teasing at her hair, fiddling with it.
Yeah.
There's maybe a nervous action.
What
Yeah.
exactly does your decision depend on? And Captain Harris is going to move away from the window and sit down at the table with you two.
She has not sat yet. She has stayed in a standing position between you and the fireplace,
Okay.
casting
Yeah.
a little bit of a shadow and whatnot. But she's definitely next to the table and facing towards you. She hasn't made herself comfortable.
Yeah, Thomas is obviously stuttering over his words, trying to find a reasoning other than the thing that he would actually say to Jason if he was alone. That depends. Look at, Princess Amber, and then Jason, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah, and he'll start fiddling with his fingertips and stuff. Clearly flustered.
I don't think he has heard.
I don't think so either.
Heard what?
The court wizard and the physician have been toying with some thing that was given to them, to the king, by some pilgrims.
Of the Republic of Porthian.
Oh, I know of it. I've helped them.
You can see this
Trying to
is
decipher
affecting
it.
her face as you're saying
Yeah.
that.
I didn't know that was the whole conversation we were talking about.
Well, it's... The situation in the court has become complicated.
Complicated.
Earlier today, earlier this afternoon,
Right after lunch.
the king had summoned all of the nobility into a private congress.
She mills over toward the chair at this point in time, and holding onto her chair, she lowers herself in, submitting to the situation.
Do you wish to, or would you like me?
She takes a breath. My father consumed the potion. I do not know if this was with or against Lysander's or Reginald's choices. And it worked in a way that I would never have expected. And I still do not know, nor do I trust what's going on. But my father has changed. He's become, by all means, younger. A lot younger. Almost Captain Harris's age.
I saw it with my own eyes.
I as well. And she points to the painting on the wall on him on a horse. And he's not fat. He has no gray hairs. He has no wrinkles on his face. And then she turns back in her seat to face you. I'm worried because he gave permission to those people for land, but he also gave them permission to lease land outside the city proper, in the country and in the territory.
Which is unheard of.
He's given them more than he would give anyone who came out of country, and he's been generous. If there's one thing my father is not, is generous. Trust me, I know. He gives very little, even to his own children. A tower to his youngest daughter? I also received the same gift, but that is all. He's never given me a manor, and not that I ask it of him. But the games he and I would play, the resistance I would give him, the fight I would put up about his decisions or his political maneuvers, when I found out about this, there was no game. He did not act. He shooed me away. He even shooed away a suitor who had come calling.
So that suitors were no longer necessary.
And she's definitely, she reaches up and grabs a fan and like starts fanning her face.
It's like he gets to relive the past 30 years of his life. And in doing so, will be able to sire an heir that he desires, I'm assuming. He was very,
He called
adamant.
for his ladies in waiting. He doesn't have any. He told the seneschal to make a list. He has a wife, and he's already throwing her away.
Well, if the wife can't bear children, then he's going to need a new wife. I mean, as frustrating as that may seem, that's what is happening right now. And there's nothing that we can do to stop it.
Ooh, we're getting raided.
Hi.
Time Roller is raiding us. Yes, especially at a dark moment in our story. Welcome, everybody, for joining us. Our story does take a very interesting turn as the king of Kadaf, who is not the good guy, has recently gained 30 years of life, and he's starting to, looks like he might be evicting some children or something.
Yeah.
He's not a happy camper.
So, Thomas is just listening to this intensely. Okay, as terrible as this is, with all due respect, what the hell does this have to do with me?
With what? Sorry, you cut out.
With me.
With me.
With me?
Well, it would be your decision to join his court.
You're my wizard. You're not my wizard. You're the wizard on my ship, and I consider you mine. In a loving respect, not as you are my property. And fearing losing you right now, I fear losing you right now. Your skills and your knowledge.
We want you to stay with the ship, if you are willing to do so.
I mean, I can. The only reason Jason, I'm cursed. The person that I will fall in love with have ruin, and a dark shadow will follow them.
Amber reaches out and touches your hand. This is not your doing.
No, but it's my choice to protect the person I love.
She pulls her hand back for a moment and raises eyebrows as she's like contemplating. She looks at Jason and then looks at you, and she ain't stupid. And then she looks to Jason, and what does Jason do?
Right? I would rather you stay with the Amber Falls than be a pawn in whatever new schemes that the king is going to come up with, curse or not. I've already come to ruin several times over, so one more time I don't really see a problem with it.
At this point, Amber's like leaned back as she realizes she's like, whoa, this is heavier than I thought. You know, my captain's in love with my wizard. My wizard's in love with my captain. Oh my heart beats for the two of you. Please stay with the Amber Falls. Please stay with me. Please, we need you. If it's money, I will pay it.
It's not money. I know this isn't really my choice to make, to constantly leave the person that I fall for. It's happened with the druids. I just left. If you're that comfortable with falling into ruin, even if that means an illness that could possibly kill you, then by all means, I'm all aboard, but I can't see that. I don't want to see that.
Then you won't see it. Because I'm not worried.
Well, you have confidence that I don't.
You should have confidence in yourself and your choices. We don't want to force you to be there. We want you to desire to stay with us.
Believe me, I do.
And with me.
At this point in time, Amber has like a tear that forms as she's like, oh my goodness. You know, because she's definitely crushed at the thought that this is going on. She has, and she says, Thomas, thank you. I cannot thank you enough. The Amber Falls would not be the same without you and Captain Harris, and I promise you, nothing will go wrong. You will be fine. The crew is an expert crew. We're getting more people to join on, and we have a plan.
A plan?
A plan.
A plan. Captain Harris?
it would be very difficult for us to go and find out information about the Republic from the pilgrims themselves. We want to find an outside, objective perspective. With all the rumors that go around, we don't know what is true, what is false, and we have tracked down a Republic soldier who defected some years ago.
A retired military man. We know where he is last known at, right?
Yes, we know who his last known position. It's an isle. About 6 weeks sail from here. And hopefully we can pick up the trail from there and find the information we need to know. And
my father would never trust the words unless they came from someone's mouth. And that's because of Reginald and the charm that he gave him. Something magical makes it hard for people to lie to him.
Mm-hmm.
If it comes from my mouth, it could be a lie if it's about something I know little about and was lied to begin with. But this man, what was his name?
Roagon.
This Roagon, if he knows, he can speak, and my father will believe his truths.
Hi, Dad.
Hey, Death. This I believe is our chance.
At the very least, we'll be able to feel more comfortable with the situation at hand. If they're nothing more than simple pilgrims, then by all means, as long as they are not trying to subvert the kingdom, which we have heard that has happened on other isles, but we don't know anyone who's experienced it in person, which is why we need to find Roagon.
Well, there's a way to find somebody, but I need something of theirs, or even a full name.
We don't have his full name, just his first name and a place.
Mm-hmm.
From our understanding, those of the Republic don't have last names. They have titles, positions, or just one name. Would that work?
Possibly.
I believe he was a commander.
I've only seen the magic work, and the thing is, I'd have to convince Reginald to allow me to use this magic, even to practice with it. I'm not as skilled as he is, but the thing is, I have good ties with him. I could easily convince him to allow me to play around with this magic. He's using it to find a suitor for himself, or he was. And I've seen him use it, or rather, I've seen myself use it to find my own suitor, which I already know my suitor, so.
When do we leave? When does the Amber Falls leave?
We're scheduled to leave in 2 days.
Master Thomas, you have 2 days, or less than 2 days.
I've studied for exams. I can do this.
I believe in you.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, then it's
Will you be
decided.
joining us, Amber?
I will be
that's
staying
just the
behind and trying to control the situation from here as much as possible.
We need somebody to make sure that we can at least have an understanding of what's going on here while we're gone. So Amber has chosen to stay.
Yes, this
Sorry,
time.
the princess. I know he would have just.
You can say Amber. She's not going to bat an eye over it.
Yeah.
May I suggest then I can also convince Scroll of Teleportation.
I'm
It'd
sorry,
be
you
big
cut
enough
out.
I can convince Reginald to give me a Scroll of Teleportation. it would be big enough for you and your sister. If things get hairy, which I suspect if things are actually going to get this worse, you may need it.
Yes, if this scroll of teleportation is something you think would be advisable, I trust you. I think you know what you're talking about.
And I can make it work. It's just... we would need a place on the ship, and he's looking at Jason, where I could physically draw on the deck. And I would need to have the room for it. Nothing can... we have to be standing still. There can't be anything in the way, either around the ship or the drawing itself. But if we have something around, someone's going to collide with something, and it's not pretty.
We will we will set up your circle in the princess's private quarters on the ship. No
Very
one
well.
except for the princess is allowed to be in that room, so we should be okay.
There is no addition to this death strike. It's a homebrew system.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Perfect. Then I just need the scroll itself. That, or I could attempt to write one up myself, but I haven't read a teleportation scroll since college, so...
The princess seems satisfied. She is definitely lulled down a bit. She's settled out a bit. She's still got tears in her eyes. Definitely an emotional moment for her.
So we have everything situated.
You have my purse, so just buy whatever the ship needs.
Of course.
Add as many crewmen as you need. I don't want the one job left open or being pulled double shift. Pack with as much food, hire extra staff in any direction, make her sail as quickly as possible.
Of course. Then it will be done. I will leave. I will discuss it with Arthur tomorrow and ensure that we have Arthur and Maria. They'll be able to make arrangements for the crew and the supplies.
The princess will rise at this point in time. Harris immediately stands up too.
Yeah.
Captain
Thomas
Harris.
will stand.
If we have nothing else to speak of, then I think this conversation should remain secret between us all, and I should probably retire for the night. I'm tired.
Of course, my lady.
And she gives a nod to the two of you as she heads over to the door. Harris will pull the curtain back for her and tie it up so she can get out. Not like she can't, but it's like what they do, right? And then she leaves and Harris shuts the door behind him so that the two of you are alone.
Wow. That was interesting.
Not what I was expecting.
he smiles at you. Well, at least you are honest with the princess, and she was quite surprised, wasn't she? He walks up to you, and takes your hand and brings you closer and kisses you.
Thomas does this. I'm laughing
totally
at
does.
Max, and it's just like, I'm eating. Let me eat.
No.
I don't want your love. But yeah, Thomas does the same and gives him a smile and just nods. And... yeah, well, so much for the secret.
I'm quite positive that it was going to get around anyway. As the princess accepts it, that means everyone else does too.
Well,
If they want to stay on the Amber Falls, of course.
You have a point there.
My apologies for being absent the last couple of days. I've been
You've
making
been busy.
arrangements with my uncle to care for my estate.
Hmm.
And it took
You've
some
been
time.
busy. I understand that.
Yeah,
This was something that I wanted to talk to you about for a while after, well, I noticed that I still had it, so.
whatever it is, we will be able to work past it together.
I agree. There are also ways of getting rid of it. It's just hard.
Well, I've never been one to shy away from difficult situations.
It's true.
Would you care to return with me to my manor for the evening?
Captain Ares, you speak so lewd without the curtains. And he'll kind of gesture and he goes, I do have that nice tower, jokingly.
Well, I would hate to take away the princess's hospitality, so
You should have seen the tea parties that we've had.
that's so disappointing. It would be far more enjoyable than what I was having to deal with.
I highly doubt it. And he kisses him and basically does a motion like, lead the way.
So, yeah, the two of you head back down to the entrance of the tower where the drive is.
Driveway, yeah.
And the two of you speared away in his carriage back to his
Estate. On the outside of town at the top of the hill, there is a pretty sizable manor behind a massive hedgerow that he takes you to. It's unlit. He's driving the carriage too, by the way. There's no driver. Well, no, there's a driver. Never mind. There's a driver that drops you guys off and then leaves. But there's nobody at the estate. As he comes up, he tells you, I don't live with anyone. This is just my estate. My uncle passes by to take care of it every once in a while with my aunt. So there will be no one bothering us and no one waking us for breakfast or lunch. And I do not have to be into town until after lunch.
I'm trying to hold back my very lewd comment, but basically Thomas just goes, oh, as they're walking further in.
So, perhaps I can make up for my absence these past few days. And it gives you a very wry smirk.
Let me show you the indoor plumbing shower. What?
So fucked up. I know you can't.
What did you tell her? Come on, guys. Share. Share with the class.
Hold on, I got phrasing.
Yeah, I'm terrible at phrasing.
So, so he takes you to the estate and he says, fuck. I can't do it, you do it, baby.
Would you like to freshen up?
I suppose so.
All right. He tells you to hang out, and he goes down into the basement and turns on the boiler, and then takes you upstairs to a tile-covered room where there is a pipe coming out of the wall, and water begins spraying out of it.
Okay, thank you. I couldn't get past it.
You can get. Do you want to freshen up now?
No. It was about showing off the indoor plumbing, and I just couldn't.
Oh.
I just couldn't get past it.
Yeah, see, that was my bad phrasing.
Especially if you whisper that to her. Yeah.
Would you like to inspect my plumbing?
But yeah, Thomas just follows him in and everything like that, and he'll start taking off his cloak or his jacket, and give Harris a look of like, "Are you joining me?"
Yeah, Harris is also doffing his clothing, and
Yep.
with that, we will fade to black.
We will fade to steam
yeah.
as
Fade to steam.
as the heat from the shower fogs up the proverbial
View.
Oh my.
Thank you for that. I like your description. It was much better than what I would have been able to do.
Yeah, that's
in
fine.
that moment.
In that moment. So, the next morning, the sun's come in. The two of you are laying in bed at this time, and
It's way past morning. Let's
yeah,
be
it's
honest here.
it's mid morning. I'm going to say it's mid morning at this point.
Okay.
The house is quiet. It's cold. You can hear stuff moving around, but it's just the house settling. And he's like teasing your hair, and he says,
Do you want to see more of my plumbing?
I'm glad that you stayed.
Me too. And he pecks Jason's lips and softly mutters, "I love you."
strong stuff.
Right?
Is he going to do it back?
So
Is it there?
you see his eyes go wide for just like the slightest second, and then and then like a smile like slowly spreads across his face. And he goes, "I love you too."
Yeah, and then Thomas just hugs him tightly, nearly tackling him, and just grinning.
So I'm assuming that maybe you guys lay there for a while,
Yeah, you
pillow
definitely.
talk, enjoy each other's company,
Yes.
wander the house.
It's mid-morning, but I mean, Thomas mentions if Jason's getting up, Thomas is just gonna be like, "Oh, it's such a shame to waste these blankets," and give him a nice wink.
I think that. What do you think? That'd convince him to stay in bed for longer.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, so it's early afternoon, and
We can't do this on the ship, guys. Come
Alright.
on.
so finally, he's like, need to make the rounds and eat and be a responsible captain and ship's wizard.
Yeah.
So,
If is Jason saying all this, where he's like, "Okay, we need to."
no,
we
this
need to be
is literally what he's saying. That's exactly what he's saying.
In a slightly comical way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Thomas just goes, "A responsible wizard."
yes. So, and then he takes your wizard's hat and he spins it over towards you, onto the bed.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Catch up.
"You wear your hat, and I will wear mine." And he gets his his captain's hat, and he's not wearing anything else, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say something like, "I'm okay with this. Like, let's do this. I'm okay with it."
Saucy.
I know.
Mm.
Oh,
Oh,
Alright.
Captain
Yeah.
Harris.
Captain, my captain.
So are we ready to
Yeah,
transition
we
into
are.
the next part?
I think we are.
I think we are too.
So-
We are going to burn the midnight oil here and go past our normal scheduled end time
We've got
because reasons.
because we've got places to go
Look,
in the
look
game.
where we got it to.
Yeah, we're very
we
close.
caught up nicely.
I told ya.
Did you want to go? Yep.
All right, one moment.
All right. So you guys are catching.
Did you guys need to do like a quick 5 minutes, or you go to
Are you
press
guys?
forward?
If we can do 5 minutes, that'd be great.
Okay, we're gonna do.
We're going to do a 5-minute break, and we're coming back. We're going to be doing at least another hour's worth of time as the ship gets ready to do stuff, and we'll finish up the roleplay here. Thank you for sticking with us.
All right,
Be
we'll
back
be
in
right
5.
back. It says 10, but it's really 5. Okay,
gonna be 5.
bye. Be right back. welcome back, everyone.
Yes.
Thank you for sticking with us on our extra hour, or however long.
Yeah, we're going to try to finish up and stay ahead and abreast of our storyline, and that's what we're doing here.
Yes.
So we're going to take an extra hour of the Shadowcasters Network time.
Because they don't have anything to do with it.
That's right. Aren't you the one that controls, like, the... No?
Yeah.
You are. Never mind. Aha! We have the power.
So, yeah, we are one short, so we are going to transition back to Kodrog for the moment.
Yes.
Because I got a whole list of people to track down.
So here's what we're going to say. A lot of the names... So, like, you have been going through the names pretty consistently. And you're hitting about 25% go, 75% ha-ah. Okay.
Yeah, 75%. I'm retired now, and I don't need to
so-
work anymore ever.
And so you're coming to the end of your list. And I said a bunch of names earlier, but I'm just going to say at this point in time, the last, you only have like 2 names left on this piece of paper before you need to, like, because you'll be done. You'll head back and, like, drop off the paperwork with Arthur.
Okay.
And you're leaving Tabitha's house. If you remember, she was the small Elam. That was
the acid Elam.
The acid Elam.
Not Fern, the fire
Not
Elam.
Fern. And so you're walking away from her door, and she just told you, no, I don't have a reason to go back. And so you're walking away, and with you are Narish and Arya. And Narish says, why are so many wanting to go away and so few to come forward? Is there something we should know?
Well, we had the miraculous fortune of earning a fortune on the last trip. So a lot of people feel that it's time to put that money to good use and retire.
Maybe we will be fortunate.
Yes. Perhaps we shall.
So you look to the next on the list, it's Curly. And then after that is Connor. Those were the 2 brothers, the one that took the crossbow bolt to the head. Anybody's particular crossbow bolt, right? To the head. And their address is both the same. So...
excellent. 2 with 1 stone.
You head in the direction of the address, the information, walk to a corner, ask some people, they point you. You mill down the hillside from where you're at, following a stone's throw away from a sizable intersection into a somewhat crowded area of homes. And as you're counting from the sheet what it says to the homes, you come across a place where it's a small stone wall, stone and wood building, and you see the 2 brothers out. There's a field next to the building, and Connor is cracking the earth with an adze, and Curly is sowing seeds into the ground and mixing in manure with it. And as you come walking up, I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, it's morning, right? Or is
it could be
it-
whatever time of day.
Yeah. It could be afternoon.
We'll say afternoon.
Okay.
Afternoon, mates. And I'll do a big wide wave and jovial smile.
Connor stops with the digging for a moment, props himself up, sweating. He smiles and waves back, Kodrog. And then Curly realizes someone's here. His hearing kind of went a bit after being shot in the head.
Yes.
And so he turns and he looks to you. Oh, his eyes widen slightly.
Especially looking behind you at the other 2 people that you've brought along.
Oh, yeah.
He stands up, brushes manure off his hands. Come to conscript us back onto the ship?
Oh, unless you've both resigned yourselves to farming.
No conscription?
Well, it's more your choice. We would love for you to come back.
He looks over to Connor. Connor looks over to Curly. Too much, mate. We made good money. You were right. And Connor prayed at the temple, and he believes he got sight from the gods about a farm. Connor gives a nod.
I think we've had enough adventure. A lifetime's worth of adventure.
Well, I hope your earnings last you longer than you need.
Aye, brother, thank you. And Curly will walk over and wipe his shit-covered hands off and extend one over to you.
Oh yeah, I'll grab it in brotherly love hood.
Yeah. The scar on the side of his head looks pretty gnarly, because it goes from his actual eyelid all the way back toward above his ear.
Yeah. I mean, he lived.
Yeah, he got
That's good.
and he kept the eye, which is pretty impressive.
I missed something. I'm back. Sorry.
The Kodrog has gone to see Connor and Curly about whether or not they're going to come back to the Ember Falls, and they have chosen not to.
Oh, okay. Is it because he lost his eye? Is that?
No, he didn't lose his eye. The eye survived. It's the hearing
No,
that went.
it's because they made too much money on their first run with us.
Yeah, and
That's fair. Yeah, that's understandable.
they're like, you know what? This is a sign. First we got, they didn't kill us.
They didn't kill us, and we also got a shit ton of money.
Yeah,
Time to buy a farm and retire.
yeah. Time
There's a
to
stream.
tap out and get out of the casino before you make a mistake.
Exactly.
Lose all of it.
Yeah.
Well, if either of you ever decides you need a little more adventure, keep an ear out next time we're in port. Come and find us.
He gives a nod. Will do, brother.
Will do.
Not today. Connor goes back to the and laughs as he gets back to work on turning the ground.
So I'll put little X's by both their names and roll the parchment up and tuck it away. Finally done.
You can head back to the ship and drop off this parchment with Arthur and be finished with this crap.
Yeah, I'll do that. But of course, there's no need for Arya and Narish to join me unless they don't have any other business to attend to, because I'm not paying them to follow me anymore.
Yeah, so at that point they wouldn't have been with you. They would
Unless
definitely.
they really cared about Kodrog's safety.
No, he's got no money box. He has no reason for that. They would have either wandered off to go gather their things, or
Most likely getting packed up.
maybe they make plans to go back, relax a little bit before they meet him up for dinner.
Yes.
So you don't have them with you.
Oh, perfect. Man, yeah. So I'll just hurry back to the ship.
All right.
to give Arthur the good news.
As you get back, Arthur is the only one sitting at the table. He has got a plethora of papers in front of him. The mounds are piled and stacked with stones, and people begin milling back and forth as a loading dock has been set up to begin taking stuff on and whatnot. And you can see that the first thing to have arrived from the warehouse is a cart filled with cannonballs that are being brought on board. As you come up toward him and you whip out the folder to him, he says, "Aye, and?"
I hope that we found some hardy sailors to join the crew.
Blast their eyes. All right, he takes the folder, reaches to his desk, and pulls up another one. Here's the other half. And he directs it towards you. What?
Hi, sir.
Are you so lonely?
Oh, lonely, no.
No.
I'd
You can't Maria.
be glad to round up the rest of my mates.
Well, if you need help, looks like the captain and Captain Harris and Master Thomas has just arrived. You can conscript the wizard into helping speed and haste you around the city.
He'll put wind in my sails for sure.
All right, he stands up at this point in time as the carriage that has come to stop behind you. Captain Harris steps out, and followed behind, of course, is Thomas coming out of the carriage as well. You guys have come down to the docks because Harris needs to be here, Thomas. And so he's like, you can stay at my house or you can come hang out with everybody else. Let's go to the boat. Come on, let's go.
But being responsible.
Yeah, we're being responsible. Come on, let's go be responsible.
Just wearing hats.
We're proud of it.
So, the captain steps out, and Arthur stands up. We have an assortment of possibles, and he taps one pile, and then he holds up a folder and says, we have quite a number of no's, and Kodrog here, and Thomas, we're about to go out and get the last batch of no's. And he smiles, a wicked smile.
Huh. I hope that we found some suitable replacements.
Aye, sir, with enough training, practice, and a little bit of a grind behind them, elbow grease into their work, and someone watching over them on a constant basis, I think we'll do just fine.
Well, we'll need to, because we're...
I do have good news. A young man by the name of Dafter, young Takiao, is going to be the new bosun's mate, so we have someone that's going to be experienced.
What am I gonna do?
Arthur turns and looks over to Harris. As if there was some point in time. You did not tell Thomas of his new position, Captain? And you did several times over the course of the night. It's just he didn't catch on to it.
Yeah. You are the ship's wizard.
Arthur looks back over to you. Oh.
Oh.
And here I thought wizards were smart. I've had a hell of a day, sir.
I imagine so. You have put up with a good number of shenanigans.
These people were the bottom of the barrel most of the time.
Oh no!
Hang on.
No!
We've lost Paige.
We've lost Paige.
We've lost Paige. She will be back shortly. I hope. He's gone.
Oh my gosh. Oh, there we go.
And
We're
now
all still in the
Thomas,
right order. Oh gosh.
Thomas has been replaced by a picture. There you are.
Oh god. Okay, good. All right, good. AT&T, my internet provider, apparently has been shitting a brick for the past fucking month. Get your shit together, AT&T. But it's literally been doing that in every game I've had. But I'm happy that it immediately got back up.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, AT&T.
So you are the ship's wizard. You are
Yeah,
an officer aboard the ship with all of the benefits of being an officer.
Does that mean I'm higher up on the food chain than Kodrog is? Can I order him around? Yes. Kodrog. Sadly not.
He reaches
Yes,
past you to Kodrog and pulls a file from his hands. Well then, it's best to dictate to you, officer, wizard of the ship. These are the last of the shipmates, and he slaps it onto your chest. That needs to be rounded up, find out if they're coming back or not. I suggest take one of the crewmates. Oh, here's one here now. Take him with you,
Hi.
go to these addresses, and find out if they're coming back to the ship or not. Because above you is me, and then above me, and he points toward Harris, is the captain.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Going now. Going.
Captain, I need to show you some things in the ready room.
Excellent. I will join you shortly.
He turns and he walks up the gangplank and he yells out for, Dafter, come down here and Dafter, come sit at this table, and no one gets on ship except for the people unloading that cart.
So this, young, like, smaller than the normal Takeo. You're not sure if maybe that means that it is a younger Takeo, or if they're just small because the children look the same as the adults, just smaller versions of them, so it depends. But he leaps off of the side of the ship, then lands next to the table. Aye aye, sir. It's a very agile little Takeo.
All right, so Thomas.
Yeah.
You're an officer now.
Yeah, that's insane. Thomas, kind of like moves over to Captain Harris and basically says like, well, I'll be taking my leave and everything like that. And under his breath at a very quiet tone, he just goes, do you think Arthur knows that we're a thing? Like, curiously, like, and then looking at Arthur. Oh god, come on, computer.
You're okay, you're still here.
You're still with us.
Good, okay.
So he eyes up to Arthur as he's walking up the gangplank and back to you. And just gives, like, the slightest of nods.
Yeah.
Thomas just goes, feels like I'm trying to get respect from your father, but it's not your father. It's really intimidating. And he, like, slides away and he does this gesture. And he basically goes, well, I'll be off then, Captain. And, like, trying to, like, you know, call back to when they were fooling around in the manor with their hats. And he'll walk away with Kodrog.
Kodrog, what's your take on Thomas getting real close to the captain and going, giggle, walk away?
It's not my business to question two officers on what they speak of.
Oh, I love it.
But I will make sure to salute Thomas every chance I get.
No.
I love
Hi,
it.
sir. Shall we, sir?
Stop it. Immediately Thomas is like, don't do that.
Hi, sir.
No, don't. And he just, like, grabs his hand and he goes, just don't.
Whatever you say, sir.
God damn it. You know what's wrong when you do with your okay. Okay, do you know these names? And he'll open up the folder and thumb through it.
Let's see the first one.
Oh, so did Larry say he was coming back?
You didn't get to Larry. I took him off your list.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Yeah, no, he's on this list.
Oh, yeah, he's on that list.
This is the list with Larry on it. So do we want to do that one or that one? Do this one first? Or do that one first?
Well, we could do this one instead.
Oh, yeah, let's do that one.
Okay,
All
that
right.
one first and then that one.
You open the folder, and the address and information is for Inu.
Oh, okay.
And
surely he'll be coming back.
That would be sad if he doesn't.
Yeah.
You follow the directions to the intersection because there's no street sign. There's street signs, but there are no house numbers or anything like that. There's no numbering, so it's just so many houses down and stuff like that. This one's different. It says follow this street outside the skirts of town and follow the main road to Fayville. So you do.
Great.
And as you get to the top of the hill and continue walking, in the distance, the great distance, there's a town. And so it looks like it's at least an hour's worth of walking. But as you walk in that direction, you see signs that say Fayville this way. You realize the town you're heading for is really fucking tiny. Not the tiny, like, few buildings. Like, all the buildings are half the size of you. So it's not an hour's distance. Only, like, 20 minutes worth of walking. And you're seeing fields of fae. Farming, plowing, doing shit like that, tending to animals, walking around.
Failings.
You find failings that are drunk on the side of the road, having a party and playing a game of checkers. You pass by a group of failings playing a game with a barrel where they're trying to roll it back and forth. You begin
Fun.
You walk into town, and here's the most important thing. None of the doors in this town are your size. Even the dwarf will have to squat down, and he will have problems turning to one side to get through it because they're as tall and as wide as an adult failing.
Oh my.
So
Ah,
oh no!
Okay.
No.
We lost her again.
no.
Oh, she's back.
Yay!
Oh, Discord. I might just reset my PC because this will keep happening.
It's okay. We're
We
doing
only
good.
have a little while longer.
We got this.
Yeah.
We've got this. All right.
Tell AT&T.
Give me their number. I'll call them. I'll talk to anybody.
I'll add them on
yeah.
Facebook.
So yeah, you see the instructions is to go to the watering hole. That's where he's staying at. And so you're looking at all these. Now, some of these buildings you can adorably reach up and touch the roof,
Oh,
like the top of the roof.
You're like
yeah, Thomas feels very, very tall here because he's also in heels.
So the failings are milling about, doing their business. Oh no! All right, we're gonna get her to restart her computer. We're gonna go on a short break, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Ta-da!
Returned we have.
I'm alive.
So, as we were
We were.
saying,
Yes, you're in Fayville. looking for a Failing named Inu at a bar.
The watering hole.
The watering hole. And so you wander through the streets of this tiny little adorable village. Some of the buildings are 2-story, so you can like reach up to the second floor and like tap on windows and shit like that if you want to be a dick. You can kick a door better than you can knock on it. And people give you a decent amount of room as you guys are walking through, because the streets are wide streets. Yes, radio. 3 Failings walked under the bar. The streets are wide enough for conveyances like donkeys and whatnot. But the little alleyways are only big enough for a Failing or 2 to walk through, so a human has issues walking through the alleyways between buildings. There will be no alleyway chases for you guys.
Aw.
Not in
That's okay.
favor.
I'll just climb up on top of the roof and jump.
Oh.
All right. You find the watering hole. It's a pretty sizable building. A lot of the Failing homes are short and squat next to the ground and widespread. Only maybe a dozen or so are more than 1 story. So you walk up, and the doors open, and it sounds like there's a party going on inside. There's been you noticed there's a lot of singing in this town. There's a lot of drunkards in this town. A lot of game playing, and it seems people are still doing work.
Like a magical Godzilla. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a good time. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna lead the way. Crouch down, turn sideways through the door, crawl in like some kind of squid monster. I don't know.
All right. As you move over and start kind of like poking your head to go through and whatnot, an attractive little Failing woman sits there and begins yelling at you. Oi, 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 no, 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 no. Go around to the barn side. Go around to the barn side. And she's trying to serve bugs to everybody. And she's like gesturing.
Oh yeah, I'll just nod awkwardly in the doorway and back out.
All right.
Sir, we have to go to the barn side.
Don't
Okay.
forget the salute. I love it.
Thomas again just like slaps his hand and goes, "Stop that shit!" Like,
You walk. You
"Oh,
do
tell
see.
me more, kitty."
You do see the barn side, so it doesn't get too hard. As you get over there, you see a large open gate for donkeys and stuff to go through, and the gate gets opened by the attractive, chesty little Failing. She opens the gate, looks at you. Well, tall ones, what are you doing up this way? Sorry, tall folk. What are you tall folk doing up this way?
I look up to my commanding officer.
We're looking for Inu. Does he have a last name? Not a character?
Oh, she says, as if that means a lot.
Oh. What did he do?
Does he owe you money too?
No.
Did he take
we-
something from you?
No, God no. We're simply reevaluating that he's going to be on Princess Kadaf's ship this
What?
next voyage.
And she looks confused.
We need him for work.
That man never works. She laughs. Come this way. I think he's drunk at the bar.
Yeah, Thomas will bend down and try to get in.
So you're walking between.
Knocks off his hat and he grabs it.
You're walking. So you're like Gandalf right now, walking through here.
Yeah.
And so you have to duck down, and as you get into the bar, it's kind of spacious near the building center, so you can like find a little cozy chair and squeeze your way into it. It's like being in a really big dollhouse, and all the dolls are moving around, drinking and swearing and throwing knives at shit.
My kind of dolls.
Most Failings have dark brown, black hair color. There's a few of them with like reds, and 1 or 2 that might have more like blondes and stuff like that. You think you see
blonde.
like strawberry blonde, and then you think you see one with like green color hair, and she's got the little pixie kind of hairstyle, and she seems to be hanging out at one table strumming on a banjo. I'm picking away at it. And
A banjo that's her size?
yes.
Okay.
And so
Wow, disappointment.
there's the busty little Failing goes over, and She picks a man's head up on the bar and holds it up by the hair. And it's not Inu. Is this him? This looks
No.
like him. She drops him into the bar. He's passed out. You notice
It's
all
kinda-
the mugs here are not failing size. They're human-sized pints.
Man, this is the place to be.
And the pixie starts strumming up as she begins making a hand gesture, like curving over. You looking for Inu? He's passed over here, she yells. And everybody starts laughing. And a guy nearby picks up a foot that's... it's somebody's foot. It's a failing's foot, but there's no boot on it or anything. And he's laying in the dirt between the wall and a table and a bunch of chairs. And he drops it. That might be him. They all start kind of laughing.
Yeah.
Thomas will help Inu up if that is him.
All right, so you go over and you reach behind all the chairs and grab the tiny little man and pull him out. Yep, it's
Yeah.
him.
I'll grab a mug that's nearby and splash it in his face.
Okay. The guy you took the mug from, he stares at you. Hey! It was nearby. You just grabbed somebody's mug
yeah.
nearby and it was whoosh.
I'll buy you another.
I'll buy you a fresh one. That one had a fly in it.
Thanks, mate. So, you pull Inu up and he looks up and he goes, Captain Harris, what are you doing here?
Is he looking at me or Thomas?
I was gonna say. I guess I kind of resemble him. No, it's Thomas, and he like looks at him and he kind of like pats his face gently.
He is cherry red in the face, and
Yeah.
he's like, the finger wiggler.
Actually,
is-
it's actually the ship wizard. I have a new position.
He's rubbing his face. Yeah, your position is standing. Mine was laying down.
Currently, yours is laying down and quite dizzy. It seems. Hey, we just need to know if you're gonna come back on the Amber Falls.
That's great.
Shortly
yes?
over in 2 days.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
gonna go in 2 days.
What are we doing?
We're going on an adventure, Elon.
Oh, yeah! Adventure. Yeah, I like adventure. Yeah. And the bartender yells out, you don't go anywhere till you pay this tab.
Did you seriously spend all your coin, Inu?
No,
Okay.
I'm good.
If when you sober up, will
He
you
reaches
remember
out and he
that the
begins
ship
like
is
patting you. He's like, wow,
Okay.
your clothes are so nice. And then he grabs your coin purse. That's really full.
Can you not? Like it's like on his hip, and he's like, "Stop it."
He's like, that's a really nice belt, you know. And so he's like,
Thank you.
just get me over the bar so I can get another drink.
Oh, okay, and yeah, he gently like lifts him and puts him in the seat like it's nothing.
Wait, Thomas does?
Yeah,
I mean, Inu's not that big, you know.
yeah.
All right, so he sits there for a minute. They bring him another mug of ale, and he squints and he says, "How much is my tab?" And the bartender doles out a number and whatnot. Inu reaches into his pants, not into a pouch, into his pants.
Yeah, Thomas is
Digs
watching
around
this
for a
just
minute, pulls out 2 gold coins and throws them onto the bar. As his pants make some serious crunching noise, because there's a lot of coins down there. And he throws the coins on there, and he laughs, and he says, "You can keep all the change." The bartender, she has this like pissed look in her face. The pixie stops doing what she's doing, starts laughing, and the whole room just busts out laughing. And then a gentleman nearby says, "So you're a wizard with your pointy hat?"
Indeed, I am. Thomas will kind of turn around.
"You do some magic?"
Not now, no.
All right. They all seem depressed about that.
Thomas turns back around to Inu.
So when we leave?
2 days.
2 days. Like, straightly 2 days. I'll get down to the docks tomorrow after I sober up.
Will you remember that?
No. No, I won't. You're right. He turns and looks at the gentleman next to me. Remind me tomorrow, next to him, and says, remind me tomorrow to go down to the docks so I can work. And the guy just looks at him like, what? I don't know you.
Thomas just sighs and he goes into like his side satchel pouch thing and pulls out a journal and he flips to an empty page and gently tears it out and starts writing down like the ship leaves in 2 days, and then like underneath it he'll just put in proper writing so he can actually see and not like cursive signed. He'll put his name Thomas.
Okay, you hand it to him. So at some point he'll wake up and look and be like, fuck, was that 2 days ago? Oh, god damn it.
Either way, he'll run down to the docks, so...
Yeah, exactly. All right, so you got Inu. He's coming back.
Awesome. Who's
So
next? And open my list.
You continue throughout the afternoon to go down the list. You've got a few. You got a few yeses. You've got more no's. Less no's than the first list, which is kind of good because you really need to fill the boat up. And then it gets closer and closer and closer to
So
that
close
last name
that you keep sliding to the back.
on the list.
Repetitively.
I do have one of my favorites, Cookie. Is she coming back?
Yes.
Okay. I was like expecting like, do you want to break her heart or should I? I love Cookie.
And her statement would have been straight up, oh, honey, I've got nothing better to do.
I love her. But yeah.
What would we do without that 5-star cuisine?
Starve.
What was that stuff? Broger? What did we learn about?
Oh yeah, the weird girl stuff.
Oh yeah, that's just literally oatmeal and molasses.
All right, so you finally get to the last name on the list. Keep going.
Yeah.
You're doing a great job.
The one you've been avoiding all day,
Yep.
Larry.
No.
Oh.
The address goes to an apartment complex. No, I'm sorry. Apartments over a tavern.
Of course.
Great.
Is,
Um,
I think we should probably check the tavern portion first.
I guess so. I mean, do we have to go inside the tavern first? Is it like connected? Where is it like
Yes,
the
it is
tavern and then
connected.
you go upstairs?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we have to go into the bar anyway, and then head up to the apartments.
So this bar tavern place is right next to the wharf. It's not too far away. Like, it's a decent looking establishment, but everybody in there looks really surly. Like, these are the people that Arthur would be like, you're my friends, I want to hang out with you, don't get the fuck on my ship, I'll kill you. Kind of people.
My kind of people.
So as you walk up to the bar, eyeing the patrons that are sitting there in their cups, the woman behind the counter comes up. You two look a little too fancy to be in this place.
Thank you. We're just here for a friend, Larry.
Friend is a strong word.
Exactly. thank
Man
you.
sitting nearby reaches out, pats you on your shoulder. Do you guys need some help finding something?
Just Larry.
I wouldn't say we need help. If we don't find them, I don't think anyone will be too hurt.
Well-
Thomas just thumbs to Coach Roggen's like, just nods.
Larry is in jail.
God damn it, Larry.
See, I believe it was a public drunkenness for 3 days straight. What else?
He got into a fight with
Yes, the
Mr.
fight.
Whitaker, and then he kicked Mr. Hamilton's cat in front of the constable.
Sounds like Larry.
Mr. Hamilton's one of the scribes for the king.
Yeah, I know. Thank you for the information. And he'll pat Kodrog and basically turn.
So we just put next by his name, right, Thomas? I mean, sir?
Slaps his hand. We should probably go bail him out.
If you're gonna bail him out, you can take his stuff too. He's not welcome back here.
How much stuff is it?
She produces a key from her pouch, steps out from behind the bar. The surly man sitting nearby, not the one who's been talking or patting you, moves behind the bar to watch all the patrons. He has a knife nearby because he's going to stab these fuckers if they reach for anything, because that's the kind of bar.
Wait, somebody touched us?
Yeah, touched...
somebody has been petting Thomas's shoulder, and that's why he was like, "Yeah,
oh, man.
Just Larry."
I'm gonna keep an eye on this person, make sure they're not trying to take any of my wizard stuff.
Okay, roll.
My wizard stuff.
I got a 5 out of 14 for
Nice.
awareness.
Really? Okay. Well, as you're looking at him, you look down and you notice there's a pair of eyes under the bar, like a child or something looking up at you. Near this guy. Between you and Master Thomas. Between this guy and Master Thomas. It's either a failing or a child under the edge of the bar.
What's it doing down there?
What failings normally do? Pick people's pockets, probably.
I don't know,
You're gonna pull Thomas closer to you?
Or pull the kid out from under the bar?
No, I'm gonna pull Thomas closer to me, farther from the bar.
Okay.
And like, I don't know, like, I don't want to kick the individual under the bar, but I definitely want them to know I know they're there.
Okay, the grubby little fingers waves at you like... So she pulls a key out.
Come on! This way.
Begins walking upstairs.
I let Thomas lead the way while I eyeball everybody else so that they don't try to sneak up behind us.
Okay.
Grubby fingers.
Gets to the second floor, unlocks the door to the room, pushes it open. You see, this looks to be maybe a simple apartment of some type. Right near the doorway, there's a large piece of wood of some type, and on it are 3 taxidermied eagles attached to it. It is large. One of them has its wings spread, and she points at that. That's got to go. She points over to a large wooden chest and says, he bought that in here too. It's filled with all sorts of stuff. It's got to go. That's his, and she points at a pile of dirty laundry. She points at the messed up bed and looks at the pot sitting on it, an actual pot, brand new looking metal pot. He bought that. That's his, but I'll keep it if you don't want it. She runs over and she begins opening the drawers on the shelf. Yep, he put some of his laundry in here. You got to get all this out too.
She starts unceremoniously taking it out and throwing it onto the bed.
Or the chest. She throws it on the
yeah.
chest. She opens the chest and you see that there's stuff in it. And one of them, it looks like a jar of pickles. No, several jars of pickles in the chest.
Oh.
All of his things need to go. Otherwise, he's got to pay me for holding things.
I look at Thomas. I don't want to carry a chest full of pickles in Larry's laundry.
Neither do I.
Well, if you leave him here, I'm going to charge him. And she reaches over from the counter, and you can see Larry's coin purses sitting on his dresser.
Okay. I'm going to grab that.
She grabs your hand. I get paid. He owes me back rent for the last 3 days, even though he's been in jail.
Of course. How much does he owe you?
Larry have?
You open the bag, and he has a gold piece, 5 silver pieces, and 40 copper pieces. Larry didn't make it much as you guys did. He made half of what you were given.
And he just spent it all on pickles.
It's a lot of pickles.
Pickles and dirty laundry. That's what he spent all his money
And
on.
taxidermied eagles.
Giant taxidermied. They're majestic, man.
Not majestic.
Fucking Larry. Larry's the only one that's just going to go look at taxidermied eagles and just be like, fuck yeah, that's metal as fuck. I'm getting that. Like,
Jeez.
I can't judge. I bought a giant spoon with my money, so.
Yeah.
My good innkeep. How much does Larry owe you?
If you want me to hang on to his stuff, I'll do so for a year, but it'll cost a gold. As she's looking at the gold that you pulled out of his pouch.
How much does he owe you in back rent? I'll let him settle his storage debt with you personally.
No.
Nah.
He's going to just dart off as soon as you let him out of jail. You pay me now, or you take his stuff and get out.
Well, we'll gladly pay you for the back rent.
And
But
for
honestly,
storage.
You can auction his pickles if you would prefer. We're
You
not
can
taking
literally throw
them.
everything
I
out.
would-
That man can get his own shit back
What about-
One of the
together.
eagles.
And what?
And you have to take those things.
And those. Those need to go.
The eagles?
Yes.
You can't put that in your tavern or something?
Does this place look like it would have taxidermied eagles
It
in
looks
the
like
bar?
it might not hurt to have them.
Pay me for storage, or take it all out now. Those are your two choices.
What if I make it easier for you to carry it all? Or dispose of it in this case?
Are you gonna light it on fire?
Maybe.
So I look up to Thomas. Sir, I think that this decision is above my pay grade. In other words, I don't want responsibility for deciding what happens to Larry's shit.
I think because we're going to be on a ship, and either if he says yes or no, I think yes is going to be the better option for him to be on the ship. He's not going to need taxidermied eagles in his cabin, because let's be honest, he shares a cabin with multiple people, and it's cluttered already. And you can
Fucking
probably get a
something.
better price for those things than anything we're going to pay you right now. 2, I can pile things up into that chest and dispose of it, or you can keep what's in the chest and I can get rid of all of his clothing.
Or
We'll pay you for the rent, we'll pay you for storage if need be. It's all coming out of Larry's pocket.
I would assume so.
But that's the best thing that I can offer you.
So, you either take the stuff, or you give me money to hold on to it. That's the best I can offer you.
What if we don't come back in a year? We are on a ship after all.
Well, then the contract's void, isn't it? And then I can do what I want
With the pickles.
with the pickles.
I'll give you props, you're a very good merchant. And Thomas takes Larry's coin pouch and just goes, a gold for everything then?
Yes.
And he'll flick over the gold. And he'll go, come on, Kodruk, we gotta get Larry out of jail. And he ties Larry's pouch to his belt next to his money.
Pleasure doing business with you. Actually, thank Larry for his patronage.
Generosity. Thomas leans down and grabs a jar of pickles and he goes, can I just take this for him for...
Of course. You would take
Great.
a few more if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm also grabbing a jar of pickles for myself.
I'm grabbing an unopened one
These
for
are
Larry.
my gifts from Larry to you.
Oh, thank you.
You're so welcome.
You have a lovely day.
Now get out.
It's good
as
pickles
soon
though.
as-
Like if because I'm carrying 2 jars, because I want to carry 2. I want my own pickle jar. Are these good pickles?
I'm only grabbing 1 pickle jar, and it's for me. So,
I'm grabbing 2. 1 for Larry and 1 for me.
well, as soon as we get out of the inn, I'm gonna pop my jar, so you can try one of mine to see if they're any good.
Okay,
Oh,
just
sweet,
want to let you
yeah.
guys know. I'm not sure how big you think these jars are, but they're not glass. They're made out of clay, and they're about this big around. I'm going to try to move my hands.
About the
So they probably have about 20 pickles in each of
oh,
them.
that's way more than
Oh,
that.
we can share one then. I'll
Okay.
grab one for Larry and share Kodrogs.
Okay.
Have you
Okay.
seen like the
old clay pickle
giant,
jars.
Yeah, but the giant ones that are at the store, they hold way more. Than
Okay, well, 20 is just the number I threw out there because it sounded
it's
big.
packed. It's packed with pickles.
Oh, yeah, packed with pickles.
right.
I want to use that as like a term
You're
now.
welcome.
Thank you.
Pickle packer.
Pickle packed.
Popping open the packed pickle jar, you pull out the
that
first
fucking
pickle,
fast.
and it has an amazing crunch to it.
Oh. I don't know why Larry bought like 40 jars of pickles, but these are good. Thomas just keeps crunching.
Yeah.
You guys head down about 2 blocks down the wharf and around the corner, and you come across the jail. It is a large iron cage that has had a bunch of wood slats thrown across the top of it to keep out the rain, and then some shitty-ass walls put up around it, while there's a tiny little shack sitting nearby with at least a deputy in it. There are guards in the area, so at least they're not completely unmanned.
Cool.
You see
just
Larry. You do see Larry in the cage.
Yep.
Does he look happy?
He looks bored.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Head down, looking at the ground, playing with a stick.
Thomas will kind of walk in, and if
Okay.
he stopped, but he'll walk up to the particular cell that Larry's in, and he goes, well, at least you got that stick. You didn't have to fight for it.
Thomas! Kodrog!
He stands up, hits his head on the roof because it's short.
Yeah, you do, Larry, because he does the weird voice.
Did I do a weird voice for
well,
Larry?
like he's just like,
Oh, right. Hey guys, you made it! Yes! And he's like reaching out through the bars, trying to grab a hold of Thomas. I don't have my dice over here. You're gonna have to roll.
okay.
Oh man, let's swat his hands away from.
And
From Thomas.
11.
11. No, you swat his hands away from him. Hey. Now he's gonna try to grab Kodrog now.
I swat his hands away.
Back at him.
Yeah, alright, you're successful.
I
He's like,
throw a pickle at him.
Hey, I bought a bunch of those.
Yeah.
He
all
grabs
your
a pickle,
stuff is
picks it
in
up
the-
off the ground, and starts brushing dirt off of it, and he bites into it even though there's still dirt onto it.
Yeah, all of your stuff is in storage at that inn you stayed in.
Oh man, you didn't get any of it?
No, not yet. If you want it, you're gonna have to go to her yourself. She's gonna hold it within a year.
And I got time, because I'm only in here for another 5 days.
Well, we're leaving in 2. The
So,
question
do you
is,
want to join the crew again?
are you on the crew or not?
Yeah, I'm on the crew. Get me out of here. Get me out of here.
I'll see what I can do. And Thomas will start searching for the captain of the guard and or captain.
Not
or...
a problem.
Yeah.
This is a well-paid man who lives a very, very super cushy life. His boots look decent. His outfit looks at least clean, but he is round. And he has made that wooden chair bend to his frame, and the little shack he leans into is now nothing more than a big wooden comforter. He's sitting there with a small cachet box at his feet, a sword beside him, and a loaded crossbow. Just chillaxing.
Yeah, Thomas will walk up and reserve a comment on, I see that you don't get work done. And, and will kind of clear his throat to get his attention.
All right, as you walk up, he stops what he's doing, which is looking out at the water. And he turns his head and looks over at you. Evening, Governor. Can I help you?
Yeah, actually you can. That man, Larry.
If you call that a man.
Sadly, I do. How much for paying his fine off?
Raises an eyebrow. Reaches into his coat pocket. Pulls out a small book. Puts several chalk marks down on his bar. Puts several chalk marks down on another bar. Puts that piece of chalk down. There are 4 white pieces of chalk. He picks up a yellow piece of chalk and begins making several other marks with a yellow piece of chalk, and then he stops. 4 silver, 38 copper. And he tosses his book back into his coat pocket.
He tosses the chocolate.
And he tosses
How
the
much
chocolate down.
How much coin does Larry have left?
You gave up a gold, so he's got 5 silver and 40 copper.
I'll give him all of that and then pay off the rest.
So you just drop the pouch into his hands.
Yep, I drop Larry's pouch into his hands, and then Thomas just goes, "How much do I owe you though?" No.
Nothing.
Perfect.
Keep the change.
He creaks. The chair creaks. Everything creaks. He stands up.
You wouldn't keep the change. He is.
Yeah. But didn't you just say keep the change?
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because I mean, how much copper is going to be left over? Like
2.
Well, no.
2?
He'll have
1 silver.
One silver and 2 copper. A silver is worth a good amount.
Oh,
So.
yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
I mean, if I get the change back, I'll give him back the copper, I guess. Or no, for Larry's punishment because he fucked up again, I'll give him the silver and keep the copper.
Okay. He smiles at you. Thank you very much, Governor. I am a hard-working civil servant. He pockets the pouch, gives you the 2 copper, waddles over, pulls out a massive ring of keys that could probably be used as a morning star, jabs one into the cell, clicks it, turns it to one side, steps into that part of the cell, stabs it into Larry's, clicks it, turns to one side, steps back and says, "Oi, sawed off." And Larry immediately shuffles out. Oh my goodness. Runs over it and he hugs you. He smells like puke and pee.
Yeah. Thomas just looks and goes, "It's all right." He pats his head very stiffly. "You're very welcome." And he gently pries them off him and hands him the 2 copper that's left over. And he just goes, "That's your punishment that you got to pay for your own fine."
Oh, but I mean, and then he grabs a hold of the pickle jar from you.
Yeah, I also brought you pickles. You're welcome.
Oh, man. To be back out into the open sea. The wind in my hair. And you notice his hair is greased down to his head. The sea foam splashing against my face. I'm so excited at being back on the boat. We should leave
you
now.
have 2 days. Oh, okay.
Want to go back and pick up your shit?
Yeah.
No.
Thomas is just like, "Do you want to go back and pick up your belongings?"
He looks past you, up the road which you came. No. In fact, we should probably go around this way to the boat. Follow me. I know the faster way.
The fuck did you do, Larry?
It's gonna be faster if we go this way. Come on, good old times. We're gonna get back to the boat.
Larry, as he's trying to keep up with him, you need to tell me what you did. You're obviously avoiding a certain route. You worried that you're gonna run into a lady or something?
Several.
Yeah, a couple. I rented out an entire brothel, but didn't pay everything I needed to pay.
Lead on.
So he takes you along the wrong way, and he doesn't even go back to the tavern.
And he tells you all of the things that he spent his money on.
3 taxidermied eagles, 24 jars of pickles. and Thomas just gives him a look and he's like, "They were on sale."
All new, a whole new set of clothes. All of the clothes that were dirty, they were all new.
All new. Every day, he just bought new clothes.
Yep. Bought new clothes and threw the other ones, on the ground because,
Didn't care.
Whatever. Yeah. Oh, the brothel. He rented out a
brothel for an evening.
for himself.
Yep.
Um.
But he swindled them and paid only half up front, then left early. He bought rounds for a pub for 2 different nights.
Yep.
For the
rounds for the whole night.
For the whole night.
God.
Um,
Larry.
He purchased 3 amazing stuffed eagles on a piece of wood. It's
Yep.
back in his room. It'll be safe
Yeah, I
there.
saw those.
let's see, what else? And then, like, all of these, baubles and knickknacks and, like, things that,
He bought several cigars that he smoked.
yep.
He spent like a silver piece on each of them. He ate expensively almost every night.
Yep.
He went to this one really fancy place where you eat food and rich, expensive drinks, and then you throw it all back up. That was kind of fun.
Exquisite.
Ah.
Thomas is being nice. He's basically listening and going like, "Oh, yes, I saw your eagles and knots," and
And then he made some wagers on some competitions, and he won a lot of money from people and stuff like that.
And then lost it again.
Yep.
Yeah.
But at least this time he didn't have to fight anyone.
Yep.
So there's
But you
that.
kicked a cat, apparently, so you
It
got in the
was
fight with
an
a cat.
accident. The cat ran into my foot.
Keep telling yourself that, Larry.
All right.
Yeah.
You get Larry back to the ship, safe and sound. You turn over the file. Arthur thanks you. You guys have done some good work. The ship gets ready to set sail soon. And so with that, and the work that's been taken care of, and the preparations that's been done, the Amber Falls will soon be leaving port once more.
Yep.
But for now, for us, this is the end of our show tonight.
Yay! Thanks everyone for sticking around an extra hour.
Heck
We
yeah.
appreciate that. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Blah.
Whew, we got to the end of it.
Got to the end of
High
it.
five.
The end of what our plans were. So yeah,
Heck yeah.
high five to you
High
guys.
five to you guys.
High five to the
Yeah.
crowd.
Woo!
Boom.
That was an awkward
Good
high
job.
five. Sorry.
That's good.
Better
So
reach around my.
as we wrap up, let's do some pluggy stuff. Who wants to
Yeah.
go first?
Paige.
Paige, you go first.
Oh, okay. Hello. Hello. I'm Paige. I'm a lady who does artwork. Sorry, I'm trying to my brain can't type as my brain can't think as I'm typing. Fuck. Yes, hold on. Okay. I do artwork for a living. Hello. You can find all my stuff here. You can message me. I do commissions. You can look at it and no, I will never write a script. And you can find all my stuff there and go, "Oh, I like your work. I want to buy it." I also do stuff here on Shadowcasters Network and Original Box Set. I play Thomas, obviously. And then on another show, I play detective on Friday Night Frights. And that's on Original Box Set. On Shadowcasters Network, I do Join the Anarchy, mostly, which is a Shadowrun 5th edition, basically Shadowrun Anarchy, the actual book playthrough. It's all improvised. It's insane, dare I say, full of anarchy. But like I said, it's all improvised, and our next episode, which is in another week after we hit Monday, this Monday, 1 week ahead, that next show is our actual epilogue to season 2, because we finished season 2 last episode. So you can check all of those episodes out on YouTube by just literally searching Join the Anarchy. I'm sure you can find it. I'm not going to put a link. I'm lazy.
Excellent.
But that's what I do. That's also our rap party, but I think that's it. I think that's all I have to plug, other than my artwork, which I will plug nonstop.
Excellent.
Buy my stuff.
Buy her stuff.
We are Original Box Set. We have our own Twitch channel. We come over here and moonlight over on the Shadowcasters Network and help spread the cool idea of the Shattered Isles. As you guys had a chance to see, this is some of the interesting lore that we've put up and the different characters. And so John and Paige here are definitely helping us create and add more content. It's been a lot of fun. But here is a link to our Twitch channel.
Yeah.
And you can come over there, and we are on Fridays. We have a schedule on our regular website, which will be linked now. But we are on Fridays and Mondays and Wednesdays. Check out our calendar on our website, and you will find out when our next show is. We pretty much keep it up and going quite a bit. Definitely there.
And you can sync it to your Google Calendar so you can get notifications and reminders for when we're about to have our show.
Yes.
And let's see. What's the next one's coming up for us on original box set? Is there anything happening tomorrow?
I might be doing the next part of Hellblade's Senua's Sacrifice. I've been playing this really cool game. It's kind of creepy and weird. Come over. It's during the Viking Age. This Celt is trying to... A Celtic woman is trying to save her husband from the Viking hell that he's gone to, because she doesn't want him to be in someone else's hell, which kind of is cool because that's also something that I utilize in my game too. People being taken to other people's hells and heavens.
Yeah. Let's see. What else? Oh, we also have a Discord.
We do.
Oh, I need to reset my thing.
We have a Discord, and on that Discord, we chat about stuff. We talk about our shows. We talk about gaming concepts and ideas and story ideas. So if you're interested in chilling and joining our story, talking, and whatnot, definitely come over and check out our Discord. There's our Discord.
Let's see. So we are going to be... Max is going to do some streaming tomorrow. John's probably going to do some streaming over on our channel on Twitch on Wednesday. Friday is when we are going to... Are we doing it?
Are we doing Friday Night Frights?
Double header Friday?
Yep, Magic Shop and Friday Night Frights is going to be coming up.
Yep, so this coming Friday will be Magic Shop, where we play Magic Item Repo Men. We are very close to the end of gathering up the items that were... not paid for. Yep. And then the Friday Night Frights page is going to get the shit scared out of her. And hopefully you guys do too.
Highly recommend.
Yeah.
If you guys have the archive, if you have the archive videos, I highly recommend watching those too.
Yeah.
Before you get into this episode, because this episode's kind of, if you're jumping into it new, you're going to be very confused.
Yeah.
We are going to be on the Shadowcasters network on Monday.
Oh yeah, Cosmic Corsairs.
Definitely keep a track on the Shadowcaster network schedule. We've got stuff on this Monday. Come hang out with me, Cassie, and another one of the original box set, Sarah.
Yes. Okay, and last but not least, I'm going to plug my stuff.
Yeah.
So, other than being a game master for a lot of different things, I also am going to be game mastering and picking up Iron Kingdoms again very soon, so I'm excited about that. But my real job is making soap, and making awesome soap, and you can check it out on my Etsy. If you like fantasy role-playing games, which I'm assuming you do because you're here, you can create your character over on my soaps. You choose your race, your class, your alignment. It gets personalized with your character's name. So much fun. And I like to post them up on my social media and then have people tell stories about their characters when they see their names up there. It's super fun. But yeah, I go to conventions all over the Southeast, peddling my wares and having fun experiences, talking with gamers about their favorite characters, and it's the best job I've had ever. So... yeah. It's pretty darn cool.
Are you dirty? Do you smell? Do you want to smell like your D&D character and or Shadowrun character?
Yeah.
Go to her soap store.
Yes.
Get them personalized. You could... I've been thinking about mine, but I'm too poor to afford it. My Inquisitor would smell like burnt cedar, and it would smell amazing.
So buy some of Paige's art so Paige can afford to buy some soap.
Good segue, Coach. Thank you.
And I believe on that note, I think we have everything covered.
Yeah, we're good.
We definitely appreciate you all sticking around and hanging out with us while we, wind down and plug our shit. So
yes,
appreciate you. And we will see you guys in the Shattered Isles in 2 weeks.
On the 31st.
On the 31st.
31st. 31st it
No,
is.
next week.
Next week, so the
Yeah.
7th. The
Oh.
7th.
No, we won't
Yeah,
be
we
there
have
some-
to. We won't be here the 7th. We're going to talk about. You guys will be kept
Yeah.
up to date. We
We will change the calendars.
We will
The
fix the
Shadowcasters
calendars.
Network knows the dates as well, so you will.
We will get it out to you guys.
Anything.
Keep an eye on the calendar.
And have a great night.
Good night,
Night,
everybody.
guys.
Bye.